been a minute since I've live streamed on my channel. Thank you for joining or coming to the replay. I have a whopping 0 people watching, crowded audience today. I got with me my buddies Rookster and Mortal Coil. Had some good combo to start off before this, as well as me and Rookie earlier in the day. It's great to be talking to you again, Rookie. How was that chicken?
It was delicious, and I'm the rookie critic, so you don't have to.
What? Who are you mixing with that?
The nostalgia critic, of course.
Oh, fuck.
I remember.
I'm the rookie critic, so you don't have
I'm
to.
the nostalgia
What the hell does that mean?
You don't have to.
Well, no, because I always thought we were like vicariously watching you pop your cherry over and over again.
Yeah.
No, I like that the way you deliver that because it's nonsense and like that's some of my most favorite moments in SpongeBob is like, wait a minute, like that's my humor, man. Mortal, what's up with you, man? We got to catch up recently this weekend, had some good talk, but it's been a few days.
Yeah, man. Well, it's good to see you streaming again. Always miss that. You came out with several hard-hitting videos, I thought. Actually, most of what I've been doing is prepping my review for the final trailer of Rise of Skywalker, because it's going to be one of those things where like you see part of it and then I pause it and then I tell you what I think and then like it keeps on going. I did 2 other videos in that style for Rise of Skywalker, and I believe I have a playlist on my thing, but I'm feeling happy. A lot of my friends are really like busting through with their subs. I think Kermit just hit 1,000.
I was
just hit 6,000.
He's almost at 6.5.
Yeah, he's blowing up all over the place, man.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. I saw just the other day Kermit's like, yeah, I went 700. I don't know what the hell's happening, and then it's like literally the next day he's like, I hit 1,000. I'm like, what the hell? Like, that's awesome. I'm glad you're getting noticed.
Hitting the algorithm, man.
Yeah, you know what it was months ago. For some reason, EVS was just like, I need something to do or watch or something. Or he tweeted something weird. I was like, maybe you can fill your time watching Kermit the Log, Frog, Cyber Frog. And he actually liked it and shit. So Kermit was pretty pleased with that. I didn't see any follow through. Like, we haven't had a red gaze moment yet with a small guy. Or like
he's another one.
But yeah, I'm waiting for Gaze to get back with EVS on there. But
I'm mad at Gaze.
You can't be mad at the Gaze.
He showed up.
Do you hate Gaze, Brooke?
No, but I hate him as of yesterday. He showed us this nasty website. I don't even remember what it was.
Is it the pussy hat thing?
I removed those words from my head because I don't want to remember what that site was called. I was very disturbed. I just got finished eating, of course, and I'm like, oh God, thank you. No. I quit.
Are you talking about the socialist girls, the pussy hats, and?
Well, they had like the 8-year-olds, and then like the naked dudes, basically. What the fuck is this website? Like, what? I don't know.
Well, okay, I could see vomiting at socialist children being indoctrinated, but naked men. Now that feels like hate speech.
Well, it's like they're on the pussy hat website, like that are meant for little girls to watch, and it's like, what the hell are they doing? And he was doing this.
They're trying to create a slippery slope, Rook.
Yeah,
with pussy hats.
So right now I have a fake grudge with the Gays right now. Fuck him.
Okay.
But they'll get.
Well, yeah, and Drunk 3PO. I remember Angus. I think you gave him a spot on Utter Chaos, and he just had like a couple of like he was the goofy dude that you sent to go see Captain Marvel, in the shirt. You remember that?
Well, that was actually his idea. That was kind of got on board and was like, well, if you drop if y'all get me $50, then I'll get the shirt to wear, and it was all for the charity. So, it was like, hey, let's. If I thought of this ahead of time, I would have had like pussy hat incentives and everything else. I wanted Jesse, exaggeration. I wanted him to go in a pussy hat too. Like you go together.
I think he would have been funnier.
Oh yeah. I think he would have, already been noticed by geeks and gamers and stuff if he would have done that back then. Especially if he wore like Daisy Dukes and like a Confederate shirt while wearing a pussy hat.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
It would be like that. I don't know if you've seen that cartoon that was going around on Twitter where it's like neo-Nazi Christian was having an abortion. and like all this wacky stuff where it's like it's good but it's bad, and they're like, well, the newscasters are like, well, I like this but not that, and they're just trying to like, it's like a Rachel Maddow filler character that's like trying to piece her way through
like,
this.
kill the Nazi, yay, but then they're like, don't abort the baby, that's bad.
Well, then maybe if 3PO is listening, he should have like tiers of incentive for how he should appear at Rise of Skywalker. Right, so if we could send him there somehow with like, his Captain Marvel shirt and Daisy Dukes and like
no, I got something better. I love drunk, but you got to go full bore, man. It'll mean more if you get Jeremy to go in a pussy hat. For Rise of Skywalker.
You remember like there was that dude who was on Twitter saying like, yeah, I went and sat behind little black kids on purpose to stare at them while they were watching the movie.
No. The screen's in front of them. He sits at the front of the theater, like front row Joe, and is just turning around watching little black kids watch Black Panther. Dude.
We should see if we can get Jeremy to do that.
No, that's weird.
If we get 10,000 likes, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers will laugh at us.
What would be funny is that I think that if we were able to make money for Jeremy or 3PO to do anything, the money would not go directly to Rise of Skywalker. It would go to a charity. It'd go for a good cause. And that'd just be for one man to go see the movie. So that'd be way worth everybody's time instead of,
Well, I think, okay, here's another idea. Somehow we coordinate a crossing of paths. It would be as big as Ellen and Bush at the Cowboys game. Jeremy and the Trump no girl that's on all of his thumbnails. They could both go see Captain Marvel 2 or something. That'd be hilarious. Or they could watch Batwoman season 1 together or something.
See, now Batwoman
lock them in a room.
Doesn't seem that bad.
Well, I think he should. So they could work together, right? 3PO and Jeremy, and put together this video where it shows like, 3PO's in the jungle and he's sweating and he's like laying the foundation, and he builds the children their first movie theater, and they put on The Last Jedi, and then he films them going, "What the fuck is this?" With like emotional music behind it. It would be great.
That would be torture.
That would be. They'd be like, "We liked it better when we were eating like rats and shit." So yeah, take this off and put on some new stuff.
Inhumane.
Mm-hmm. Fucking UNICEF would get involved. NATO.
Yeah.
Before we get into topics, because we're just bullshit being silly and wacky, I want to get real for a moment. Mad Max hosted his first live stream on his channel. And it was funny because I actually was going to send something that we were talking about earlier, Immortal. We won't get into on the stream, but what we were talking about, I sent that to, or I was going to send it to War Campaign after I got out of plumbing class, and for just conversation. And then in my inbox, I saw not just a message from Mad Max, it was a link to the stream, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know the title. I don't like the title, especially because like on the Twitter link or whatever that he shared, it looks like, oh, Phantom Menace is dead and it's Mad Max blacking. It's like, no, come on, it can be misleading. So I was irritated with that title. Retroactively seeing it afterwards, but I had a good time. Snowdub came on. Didn't agree about everything, but it was fun, and I think that's what I've been wanting is like, say what you want about whoever and stuff. That's your cause. That's your thoughts. I'm not trying to censor you, but be more. Don't criticize if you're not adding something yourself. And he's doing it. I love it. And it was fun convo. And he was supposed to be doing something today with Star Wars Only, our buddy. That was on a couple weeks ago here. And unfortunately, his father-in-law is, I guess, in the final throes before death. I'm not sure the circumstance or how long it's been going on. But if we could just give well wishes to Mad Max and his wife, That'd be great. And maybe you can find him on Twitter. It's just look up Mad Max, you'll find him. His Vader avatar, and just say something nice for him or his wife. Despite how you might feel about him being in the Phantom Menace, he is an ally against Disney and Lucasfilm current regime and whatnot. So at least he's like Russia with America before the Cold War. If not an ally for you. So let's find that common ground. Let's give that olive branch at least with this. If you don't like him, I don't know if y'all got anything to say about that.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, and it's one thing if you don't like the guy or disagree with his content, but nobody should feel left out because their family members are fucked up. We've had enough of that in the Phantom Menace as it is, so just have a little heart, people.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Immortal. All right, so we got Stony McInternet Douche. Please write out your full name again, man.
I was about to say, what happened to that? I see Stony Mick, and I'm like, is this like some pencil neck white dude? No. This needs to be Stony McInternet Douche, the guy who is an internet McDouche. That is awesome.
Yeah. He says, if I ever watch Rise of Skywalker, I will do it in a clan hood, not because of the movie, but because that's just how I watch movies. That's funny, man. One of my favorite movies is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And the clans. Yes. There's some funny stuff with the clan.
I have actually seen that.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. You should watch it again as an adult. And being in film criticism, it would be great for you to give a review, because that's kind of an odd movie, especially for you being a Northeasterner and everything. It's just a totally different niche. I'm kind of exposed where I'm from to some bluegrass and country and older music, blues, Robert Johnson, all that stuff. So it's not necessarily foreign to me. Like it's not a complete out of the realm type of movie. Like I assume it would be for you, but what were you gonna say, Immortal?
Oh, just I'm totally down on all that stuff, and fan of classic rock. We've talked about this off air a couple times. Wouldn't be no blues if there wasn't Robert Johnson or B.B. King or Chuck Berry, all these great black musicians that really just transformed the vernacular. It's kind of funny to me that those people weren't even accepted in America at the time, and it was the British listening to them who had to play it back to us. Jimi Hendrix couldn't get fucking $5 together for a meal. He goes to England, and suddenly it's like, yeah, dude, good stuff. The Man of Constant Sorrow. That movie gave us that song.
Yeah. Immortal.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me see. We got I'm Not Creative 22 saying, "What's up, Black Angus? Moo." And we also got I'm saying Iron Man smashed the like button. And Stoney said he was forced by a small Polish boy. This actually is what happened. Supposedly, he said, I'm wondering if he's making like some sort of elaborate Nazi joke through the chat.
I thought that was like an Edwin Boyette joke or something.
No, because like if you say Polish, especially just a clan, it's Nazi, whatever. I'm assuming this is gonna be a long form kind of Nazi.
A longer joke throughout the chat. Well, I guess.
Yeah. I'm on to you, Stoney. All right, so I just saw this in the trending, so this is just a hot thing off the press from Hollywood Reporter. A lot of us kind of expected this stuff. Apparently, let me find it here on my phone. Apparently, where'd it go? Why Star Wars didn't work out for the Game of Thrones duo. The news of David Benioff and Dan Weiss' sudden departure from Star Wars franchise predictably sparked a tizzy among many fans. Go inside what happened. So there's a link to the article and whatnot. And it pretty much talks about TOXIC Fandom. And they're just nervous over divided attention with so like the division of Star Wars and Netflix projects was a legitimate concern. And I can totally get that, which makes me wonder, why would you take that deal? Like, it's not like Netflix wouldn't still be there in a couple years after Star Wars. But yeah, like, what do y'all think of this? I want to go with Ricky first because he is only halfway through Game of Thrones. He knows all the hubbub and everything's followed that, but you're kind of fresh right in the middle of the good spot. what everyone kind of generally agrees on. Let's get your take with everything with Game of Thrones and Star Wars and the Benioff and Weiss.
Yeah, I'm at the part in Game of Thrones season 4 where one of the night dudes takes the baby and then gives it to another one, and then he like turns its eyes blue.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of at that spot. So that's how far I am to give people reference. I don't know. Like I don't really care if they are gone or not. Like to me, them being hired for it, I mean, seemed like a decent idea, but that was more the project that they were given, the Knights of the Old Republic type of thing, rather than the actual just them specifically. I don't really care.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, because like I feel like Star Wars is like the way that the universe is. I don't know if that would flow as well with like Game of Thrones style. I feel like it would have to be a little bit quicker pace, at least for Star Wars. Star Wars has to at least move along a little bit more. I would think. I don't know. I can't imagine it being as slow, because the slower a space show goes, the worse it gets.
Well, I
Usually.
mean, we had The Last Jedi, and that was essentially the Fast and Furious 6 airplane scene where it's like 30 minutes on the tarmac. That was Last Jedi for 2 hours. Well, essentially, that's where Wonder Woman got her first little bit of fame in film, was dying at some point on this chase on the tarmac. But it's like 30 minutes, and they go in a straight line the whole time. So it's like, wait a minute, because the plane's going really fast, like it's about to take off. So it's stupid as hell. It's a huge criticism of that movie, and kind of an obvious, like, what were y'all thinking? You know, Last Jedi is 2 hours of that. So I mean, we've been exposed to really bad. Even though I'm a defender of prequels, Attack of the Clones is a very slow-paced film. It takes you about an hour to get kind of introduced to everything developing before stuff starts taking off. So we've been exposed to slow stuff. I will say though,
slow on a television scale is way different than a
yeah,
slow.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say their background. I'm not sure how much you know about the Austin interview. Some people think that this is what got them canned. They were being kind of candid about, yeah, we kind of learned in the moment when we got on Game of Thrones. We were kind of surprised they took our pitch, because we were pretty nervous. We didn't know how they took it and everything. And we, like, there was stuff about they never thought to film scenes with like Cersei and Robert and everything. And they'd get like 40 minutes of a show, and they're like, well, we need more. You're contractually obligated. Things like this that makes them sound like they're retards, even though they did a phenomenal job from the get-go, especially on rewatch. So I mean, they come from film, and all their films have been great, but overall, looking at their work, I'm like, I trust them. I want to see at least what they would do. I mean, for me, my take is I didn't like 2/3 of season 8, which was the last 4 episodes. So they got like an 80+% hit rate with me on Game of Thrones. So I wanted to see what they could bring to Star Wars. I don't think the timing would be such a problem. If anything, I think it would aid them, since it seemed like they kind of had to embellish to keep the show going.
I suppose. And Immortal can give your thoughts in just a second. Like, I agree with Michael Brent in the chat, kind of. Like, I just don't really, I don't need more Star Wars right now. Like, just, I kind of like the bigger breaks in between, like, releases. Like, but with it being, like, every year, there's a new Star Wars thingy, it's just on people's minds too much, in my opinion. Like, because there's another material that's going to come out, and another thing that's going to come out, and another thing that's going to come out. It's like, I'm kind of looking forward to there being some type of break, but I don't know. Just personally, because like as much as I like Star Wars, I don't need to have it around at all times.
All right, let me address this really quick, because we got Speaker for the Dead. He's a new channel I found. It's not some secret. I found you, Speaker, by looking up Phantom Menace and most recent uploads. I like to see what criticisms or like kind of rah go us content is going on, hopefully from newer channels. So that's how I found you. That's how I usually find B-level new content. Has always got Phantom Menace algorithm working for them. So that's funny. Yeah, I really liked your commentary. He says they should have called that show Game of Porn. You see more boobs on there than in regular porn. Well, I watch a fair amount of porn. Disagree. But no, honestly, Game of Thrones.
I watch a fair amount of porn. What?
Game of Thrones does like a lot of HBO shows. They utilize their rating and their independence and whatnot, and they draw you in with carnal base level pleasures, sex and violence, and then they sneak in kind of like Joker, where it's like, hey, let's use a comic character to sneak in a real film for all these dummies that watch Marvel, you know. Uh, Same thing with kind of a different angle, though. That's how I view Game of Thrones and everything else. They lured you in with the porn, but then once you watch the show consistently, they kind of fade that out and just tell you real character stories. But Michael Brent, I don't think there's enough Star Wars. I want more all the time, and we wouldn't be having this conversation if we were pleased in general with Star Wars content. We want more. With all the bitching for 2 years about Last Jedi, everyone's just lapping up Mandalorian, and there's like no context to those trailers about what's going on. So I think everyone wants more Star Wars if it looks good, if it feels good, if the story's competently written. We expect some shortcomings narratively, but I'm not tired of Star Wars. Even with Rise of Skywalker, it's the only thing I've looked forward to since Last Jedi, because I have a level of understanding with the sequel trilogy, so I just look for the good stuff, and it's going to be better than Last Jedi.
It's interesting to me. Game of Thrones, I agree, Angus. It very much draws you in with the carnal kind of bestial nature of humans in general. And while it's in a historical world, it has that sort of like a medieval brutality that we've all read about and that we acknowledge in our past. But then then the actual story kind of takes you over. And I agree, like up until the last season, the last few episodes, I was really happy with it. So I want to thank you for recommending it. I want to thank my lovely woman for sitting me down and actually watching it, because I really had and this is actually one of the reasons why maybe it's better to look at all sides of the coin. That for the most part, the fandom menace, who were very devout fans of that show, really shit on the last season. And I was like, well, I don't want to start caring about all these characters just to get fucked in the end. And I think the problem with that was the pacing, because ironically, the rumor that I heard was that the reason they hurried up that last season was because they got the offer from Star Wars. And that's what's interesting, because before all that shit came out, if Star Wars people, Lucasfilm, were out scouting for new talent, they again would be looking at ratings and they're like, well, shit, this is the biggest show on HBO. Let's get these guys to do something in our galaxy, and then everyone's going to be happy. And, Bob Iger walked out and marched up to the podium with all the camera lights flashing, and he's like, yep, we're going to get these guys to do a trilogy. And then, like, all this shit happened with Netflix. Netflix was like, nah. Or actually, HBO, I'm sorry. HBO was like, nah. And Netflix was like, well, you could work with us, I guess. And then they're like, okay, well, that's fine. We were going to do Star Wars anyway. And then Star Wars goes, nah. And then they're like, well, that's okay. We got other shit to work on anyway. But you also have that track history, and I can't say it's her for sure, but Kathleen Kennedy doesn't get along with directors very well. So it's just a strange timing thing. There's a lot going on in Star Wars, and I don't know how many topics about that you want to speak to, but as far as Game of Thrones go, yeah, that's my thought. What up, Kermit?
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing tonight?
Oh man, I'm getting audibly fucked in the ear by the green peen, and I gotta say, I like what's going in my ear hole.
You're gonna have a little tadpoles coming out, huh?
Yeah.
No, it's great to have you on. I haven't talked to you in a while. Well, I texted you a few times, but
yeah, no, Angus, glad to be on, man. Sorry, I was I'm always off on the times, when everybody's on East Coast, West Coast. And
you're like, "Hey, we going yet?" And I'm
He's
like,
a
"I told
busy
you
little
6
frog.
your time."
He's a busy little frog.
I try to gauge my drinking around going on, and I was off, so I had to deal with nap time, and I'm here now. So,
Wait! Perfect time for Bert to come in here. We got a comment from Stony McIntroduce. He says, "Real talk for a moment," and you see, I never know if it's actually real, so we'll just go with it. He says, "I keep getting hit on by guys and don't know what to do about it." Well, I'm not the person to talk to, you know. Yeah, I talk about, you know, I drop it in the chat here and there. Yeah, I'm bi. But I've never like dated, you know. I'm very hetero. I'm just aware that you know, I can go both ways through the doorway. Um and yeah, so I can't tell you anything. I don't have gaydar. I don't pick up on any of that shit. Like one time when I was in Fort Drum, freshly married with my wife and everything, she made these army friends. It was like a lesbian couple, and we went to like their shindig, their hangout, whatever. And it turned out like everyone but us was gay, and I had like no idea. I was like, wait, what? And so it kind of threw me off because I felt
normal people.
no, it wasn't that. I felt kind of betrayed, or like, oh, it was a weird thing at the time where it was like, oh, wow, I was talking to a gay guy. And it's like, I was just concerned that, you know, what if I gave off vibes, but I didn't know because I wasn't kind of like, you know, putting off that vibe of like, hey, we can talk, but, you know, and it kind of puts it in perspective where it's like, oh, yeah, you know, I don't know.
I
It's
just thought
weird.
you were pissed off because you thought you were in the land of milk and honey, and
No,
It's
weird trying to ponder like what I'm like what exactly I'm trying to get out with that, but you know, it's just like I don't know. Do you think maybe Stoney can introduce that you're giving off those fabulous vibes? Is that it? And what kind of gay men are you getting hit on? Is it like, hey man, let's go get a beer at Applebee's and watch the finals or the World Series, or is it like, oh honey, that hair needs a lot of work? Is it, you know, what kind of vibes are we getting from the people hitting on you? Let us know in the chat. Kermit, first in here, what are your thoughts with this dilemma for our friend Stoney?
Well, I live in San Francisco.
So you're in a whole different ballpark.
Yeah, I don't know how to. I used to work in the gay neighborhood of San Francisco. Here's a gay neighborhood.
Wait, we're getting more information. So just, if you don't act gay, then it doesn't matter. The issue is I was getting unsolicited asshole pictures. I know how EBS feels.
oh, shit. Yeah, you can tell by the dingleberry count exactly how pissed off your unsolicited sender of pictures is.
He says the first message from the guy was, "Hey, you want to be my daddy?"
So the answer to that's always yes, right? No matter what the sex or gender.
I mean, you should have said yes. Maybe you could get child support. You know, in this fantasy that he wants to live, and it's like, well, I mean, if I get money, then cool.
Stephen Walton in the chat there too, and we should throw him in with the recent successes that's been happening in our community. He's released his volume 1 of the Fandom Menace, and it's selling a lot, man. He's about ready to take it to print and change the world.
Hail.
So, hell, Stephen Walton.
Yeah, hail Immortal Coil. Also, Stony Mix. Doesn't Stony Mix sound like a lesbian name?
Well, it was Stony McInternet Douche, but he had to change. I guess YouTube or what have you forced him.
Right.
Well, he got copyright stricken by all the real internet douches, so
he got forced to by his significant other.
Yeah. Hey, no hate, Stony Mick, in case you're not a lesbian.
There's now lore around Stony McInternet Douche. Nice.
Yeah.
Mystery.
Yeah, Steven. Yeah, I talked about you a little bit yesterday. He came up on Max stream. I don't know exactly how. He was kind of going to crack whatever, and I was like, no, I'm in support. You know, I was making sure people knew to support you, and that you and Ricky are like my two shining examples of pretty much the only people trying to. You know, you mentioned, you talk about, you know, learning from Comic Skate, and in regards to Steven. And, you know, I think you and Ricky are the only people trying to make something out of Phantom Menace beyond just talking about, so which is great. You know, like that's my main purpose here, is just to comment and discuss film and everything. But there's a lot more to be said and done with fighting the culture war, if you will, in our realm of entertainment and everything. And I just appreciate what you're adding. The only other people I could maybe throw in the ring with that, like off the top of my head, in Phantom Menace that is really adding to something, is Ryan Kindle and Lethal. That kind of duo with the EU. It's been years I've collected EU stuff and never really cracked the cover. And then Ryan Kindle comes along and it's like, wow, he's piquing my interest. He's enjoying something at Star Wars. He's content of like, all right, it may never get better for me, but I have 40 years of content. So, and we got Steven in here. So,
hail Steven.
I want to give the content to Black Angus's back hole. What's going on?
Before we continue, let me share this. Let me screen share this. I think this is from Pablo Romero, if I'm correct. Entire screen share. One moment.
I think you're telling us what you're doing.
Well, he's
gonna get the play-by-play.
Yeah. Crap.
Oh God! Take off that hamster, bro.
If you guys have not yet, back Steven's book on the Phantom Menace, Volume 1.
Thanks, man. Thank you,
For
Rookie.
real. He is selling signed autographed books for like $30, and I'm telling you, once this book is out and it's big, you're gonna have a hard time getting him to put his pen where it belongs.
My big book away. And I'm not charging shipping. I'm not charging shipping either, guys, for the first one. So, I'm sorry. What was that, Immortal? I cut you off.
Oh, same thing. No, dude. I was just saying your autographed books by you and your co-author are only $30, and I saw that and I was, fuck yeah. Just
Thanks,
make sure you customize mine appropriately.
Oh, I'm gonna put a mushroom stamp on it just for you, buddy.
Yeah, if you can make a custom one with a couple like rainbow dong like X-wings or something, that'd be great.
That sounds awesome. Actually, I'm getting a message to that right now. Is this the rose Tico we should have gotten, Angus?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I saw this. It's from he did I think he did the cover for Magic Cop from Comicsgate. And I saw this. I'm like, this is amazing. Couple of the topics of today, Game of Thrones, and well, maybe that was it. I don't know. I expected more Star Wars discussion, and then I looked at my notes like, oh, it was just the one thing. But that'll be the start. Rose Tico.
Oh, no. And then you're giving like EVS a nice little chub right now.
Yeah, I saw this and I was like, damn, this is amazing. I like what he does. I hope I'm getting this art. I think it's Pablo Romero. He's got this really cool retro 80s style, and I just love it. And he did I think Mia Khalifa version of Miss Marvel.
Really?
So he does these really good kind of jab at SJWs and their whole, like, you can't draw women like this.
I love that art. I love that art style too.
Yeah, no, it feels very, like just cool. Like I want to play Grand Theft Auto
right
when I see this.
You ever watch Heavy Metal, Angus?
Yeah,
yes.
I like the first story. Like, was it the cab driver or whatever, and he gets the chick and everything.
Yeah.
But overall, it's just not my cup of tea. Like, it's fine, but eh.
Well, yeah, I think one of the appeal was that it's a lot of the voice actors are from that generation, like John Candy, and a lot of those guys.
Yep.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me catch up the chat before we continue. All right, I think we're pretty much caught up. I haven't much been discussed, but yeah, Steven, what's going on? Where are you at with your funding now?
Here, share my screen while he's talking.
Yeah. I don't actually have to bring it up.
I got it up.
Interesting story. Interesting story. I lost Mike.
You lost Mike?
Like I lost him. Yeah, for like a whole week, I lost him. I lost Mike. Like I don't know what happened to him. The first couple of days, I was like,
oh, we just lost Steven. Man, like this black hole, like eating up Phantom Menace authors is just like very disturbing.
Oh no. Okay, so
yeah. Anyway, so I lost Mike. Right. So he was gone for a week. Now, the first couple of days, I was like, okay, that's just Mike. He goes off and he does his own thing. He's like a Canadian living in the freaking woods. I don't know if he's out picking berries or doing something, but he's out there doing that. And I understand that. And then he does a show with Final and Sporking and Bear. And so they started, asking about Mike. Where's Mike? Like, I don't know. And then I started selling books because I'm almost at the point where I can put the print run out, guys, and then I can start shipping them. If I can get books in people's hands before the Indiegogo's even over, could you imagine that? Because I want books in. All right, I'm trying to do that. I want books in hands before the end of Rise of Skywalker. If I sell enough books on this one, then I'll extend it another 30 days. But that's my goal anyway. So I started getting worried because I'm selling books. I'm like, okay, it's time to get the final print ready. Like, where's Mike? Where's Mike? And then I'm freaking out. So finally, like after 5-6 days, I'm freaking out. Bear, Nerd Fun, he's freaking out. I finally, I contacted Bleeding Fool. I said, please tell me you have contact information for Mike Rogers. And then Bleeding Fool sent me back a message and said, yeah, they gave me a number that I already had, but I'd been calling it. And I was like, sure. So I called it again. And finally he answered. And I said, what's going on, Mike? And this freaking Canadian, right? I'm worked up. And all he says is, oh, how you doing, man? Yeah, I'm just sitting over here, just working. The internet went out. It'll be back in a day or two. I'm just working. Like, you motherfucker. You couldn't give an email? You couldn't give an email? You couldn't write a note? Like, I'm freaking out because I'm in the first
I'm breaking up with you.
You're not doing volume 2. But I'm talking to people. I'm getting volume 2 set up. We got John Talk's going to write the forward for volume 2. I'm in talks with the Midnight's Edge guys because they have an idea for something that is I was going to do anyway, but I think that they would be able to facilitate better and give them a chance to promote Midnight's Edge, and I think they deserve it because they've been kind of in the fight before the Fandom Menace was a thing, just like World Class. So, so far I've sold 52 books. I'm really happy. I'm really proud of everybody. Thank you guys for letting me do this. I didn't come on to promote me. I came on because I saw all my friends were on a live stream. I wanted to join. I just got home. I've been going all week, but. Yeah, and I got a video up there from the Real Review 3000. Chris Knight, actually, I really, really like it. And I just thought it needed a little more attention. It's a good message, and I'm glad that it's somebody that likes The Last Jedi that can get up there and speak about why he gets in himself Fandom Menace. And
he's a white male, so he's probably just a
sleeper cell. Well, he's got a
false SJW.
he's got a soft mouth too. Like, it looks really soft to me, and I like that. Kermit, how's the pig?
She's dead.
See? I thought you ordered another one, like a mail order bride. But you got a mail order pig.
Yeah, I did. She's still in the plastic. Actually, I've been waiting for like the right moment to bust her out.
Oh man. You're about my age. Do you remember that movie, the Cherry 2000?
Whoa, bro.
Do you remember that?
I'm 37, so I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, come on. You're only 5 years younger than me. You remember? It was an early '80s movie. Right? It was really cheesy. It was like a futuristic movie, and it had it was about this dude, and everybody had a sex robot. He fell in love with a sex robot, and I forget who played it. It was a real hot chick from back in the '80s. Cherry 3000, Cherry 2000, something like that. Anyway, the chick breaks, right? So his sex robot breaks, and he goes on this wild hunt into the wastelands of America. It's like a future dystopian shit to find a whole warehouse full of these sex bots. And then he discovers in the end that he falls in love with a real chick, and he likes real poon better. So that's how I feel about when I hear your stories about Piggy. I feel like you're out there like in Mad Max, kind of looking for a new sex bot, to fix it. That's how I envision you, Kermit.
It's pretty accurate.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just imagining Mike with his internet going out, and he finally gets a hold of you and be like, "Oh yeah, Moose hit my line, eh?"
Oh, I was out in the wilderness picking berries. I don't know why I'm doing an Irish accent. I got abducted by a Sasquatch.
It was locked out of his house.
One of the platoon leaders, she was from our ranks, being a new soldier in the military in basic, but they give you platoon leaders, so you funnel all your problems to leadership, who tells the actual sergeants that are training you. And the one for this other platoon, she was from Minnesota, so she'd be like, "All right, be sure you put it in your bag, okay?" It's just I cannot take this bitch serious.
Well, you know what you should do, Angus? Instead of Meth Gator, you should chronicle the rise of private nuts to major nuts. I think you'd have something. Private Richard, maybe.
I like
Major
it. I like it.
Harry.
I don't know. I would probably I could probably be a producer on that. You know, give like some creative insight.
A creative consultant.
Yeah. I could be, kind of like a Lucas to I don't know, a war campaigner writing this. I just get those little fine details, like, all right, this and that, and then someone else is like, all right, now Rainbow Dong, back hole.
Well, and since you brought it up, I really think a good addition to the Black Angus store, which everybody should go visit. It's wonderful. You should get tiny little Death Stars and somehow attach the Dick Star laser beam to it. Super laser. And sell them.
Are you talking about my meme with Steve?
Yeah, dude, and make them like the size that they can hang off your mirror or something, and there's just like super laser Dick Star.
Yeah.
Off your trailer hitch.
Let me email myself that, and then I'll share that. Or maybe I'll send it to Ricky so you can share it, because my computer's really slow. So just give me a moment. But yeah, while we're waiting on that, interesting development. This is kind of a quick one. Joker Oscars. I was looking at MovieWeb, and they were saying they wrote this article where it's like they really think Joker can get an Oscar. Like there's this Oscar push. We've known since at least DiCaprio got it from Revenant that there's like this huge funding to get your movies Oscar wins or on the ballot for noms, because it further legitimizes your film and everything. It's like, look, the objective art critics of film gave this film a nomination and or an award to show its proficiency in the art. How y'all feel about those? Start with Steven, since he's newest here in the chat. Go to Kermit, and then Ricky and Moore can kind of duke it out like Joker did in Dark Knight.
Did you see Joker, Angus?
Oh yeah, I did a couple videos about it. I gave it a 7 out of 10 because it's too synonymous, in my opinion, with Taxi Driver. So it's not original. It's original for today, but emotionally, I really appreciate it. I really got something from it. Both talked about yesterday. Growing up a nerd and everything that kind of isolates you in society, as well as just mental health and everything. I just really related to it. I just think it wasn't original enough to get like the best score. I think people were blowing their load over it a little too much. But
okay, it's interesting every time I have a conversation with you, man. You're always thinking outside the box. I mean, you always have a different opinion than I hear from other people. That's why I appreciate your content, man. But as for me, I didn't go into that movie expecting to like it, and I ended up loving it. And it really it has kind of an independent movie feel to it, to be honest. That's the way I looked at it. You're right. It did remind me of like an era of Taxi Driver. It did remind me of that because of the pacing and the setup and how they did the character development. But as far as Oscar, I think maybe for originality, for doing something different with all the movies that are being done right now, there's nothing like it. I haven't seen anything like that, anything produced, written, directed like that in quite some time. And it relied heavily on character development, not flashes and bangs.
Really quick, I think you'll appreciate this, Steven. Stoney says, Joker was great. I only got mass shot twice. Now, Stoney, do you mean like the incels shooting people, or are you referring to these recent like gay attacks on your person, with the butthole picture?
He got mass shot by a bunch of gay people? Is that what he's saying?
Oh my God.
It totally changes the context, right?
Somebody send him like a baby wife.
Rookie,
but that's funny. Wasn't the Batman movie one of the
yes.
Nolan? Yeah,
it was a shooting, yeah.
So that's a clever witticism.
Yeah, and we got 19K saying my thumbnail got him. Yeah, earlier I actually showed the picture, and I just realized I need to send that to your Twitter Rookie. So one moment, I'll send it to you Twitter so you can show it. I also need both memes. Hopefully Lethal will see this. He should be on lunch break soon, and he'll come in
the chat.
Oh, right.
Oh,
My
yeah?
chat's a little slow. Lethal, if you can pop in soon, I would love to get your kind of breakdown of that meme you wanted.
Don't ask Angus for memes. Not unless you're ready to see them.
Oh, Stoney says, you figured it out. The white hood is the result. That's hilarious. But yeah, let's go to Kermit. Your thoughts about Joker, its Oscar chances, and the media still trying to kind of undercut and dig at this movie despite its clear success financially and critically.
Get Lethal on here.
I think the media has gotten a gender check lately.
It's been a while.
Yeah, well, especially with I guess gender checks happen in threes, man. You know, Barack Obama today coming out and saying people need to stop being woke ass pussies, especially cable media, is a big shot to their nuts. As was the success of the Joker and Dave Chappelle. So back to the Joker, though, I think it will win the Academy Award. I think that I think too much of the regular people love the film, so I think it's gonna be a success at the award.
So you think it's gonna get a pleb award? Is that what you're saying?
I think they'll have no choice. What else will win?
Yeah, you know, if anything, this could help start a white race riot, you know, since it's all a bunch of, you know, Nazi incels that love Joker. This would be the perfect false flag for them to start. You know, it's like, or they think that it'll do this, so then they let's not give it, and then nothing actually happens, or I don't know.
Well, like every season, their ratings are down by like 5%. So eventually, capitalism is gonna have to kick in, right?
I don't know, man. Like, what do you got? Like, what, 4 major brands left with film? You got Disney, you got Universal, Sony, and I know there's a 4th one, Warner Brothers. AT&T owns Warner Brothers now, so.
Yeah, but all those fucking snotty nose actors, they want to do these films that are the low budget independent films, though. They'll take the Disney payday to make one film that they like, and a lot of those films are going to be art house films.
Yeah, you know, interesting thing. You know, you've seen videos here and there about it, but it reminds me of the Avatar argument that I had. So there's this whole thing going around where it's like Joker is about to make as much profit as Endgame. So when you put in perspective, $2.8 billion, but how much did they spend to make this event for you to go see and spend $2 billion worldwide versus Joker just getting close to $1 billion? It's already made almost as much profit. It's like,
I guess I'm sorry to interrupt, but Rookie told you in the private chat that he's black. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Wait, did you say black?
Yeah, he said he was black. He said in the private messages.
Okay, he's privately black. Is that what we're getting?
Yeah, he's in the closet black. He's come out of the closet black.
All right, Rookie, if you want to share that Lethal meme, I'd appreciate it. We got Lethal in the house, so get his breakdown of this, his reaction live.
Okay.
It's so good. Long. That's pretty decent. Oh, and happy fucking birthday, by the way, man.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, guys.
We're sharing this. All right, here we go. This is a war campaign meme by meme.
What's the
Right,
breakdown?
so talk
All
us
right,
through
I
this.
don't have
Angus.
much
What do
time.
Okay.
Well, no,
I don't have much
well,
time. Here's my impression of this, okay? We'll start with the kangaroo fucking the pig, okay? Now, trust me, this all leads to something. So something get through this. We've got the kangaroo fucking the pig. That's quite self-explanatory. There you can see there is a group of 4 people Steve Irwin is cheering the kangaroo on, going, "Yeah, get in there, mate." Meanwhile, we got Stevie J, who's just loving everything about this. We got the bathwater fot, who's just like desperate to get on the action, and we got the overly excited dude who's just like, "Holy shit, yeah, go man!" Like he's cheering on the kangaroo. He's cheering on the kangaroo. Okay. We got Batwoman there because I love lesbians in latex. We have, trust me, this will lead to something. we have Brie Larson sitting in the back, patiently waiting her turn. Now, this is something that I'm not too sure about, and I'll have to get Angus's take on it. Unfortunately, I do have to go pretty soon, so I'll have to come back and ask him. Now, the book that she's holding, I need a new butt. Now, I have 2 possible theories on this. She's just a flat ass and looking for some fresh cheeks, or Kevin Feige has pushed her shit in so hard that she can be in a new Star Wars movie that she literally needs a new butt. Yeah. On the ground, we have just some random slut.
Now,
Andy Summers. No, please continue with that. Go ahead. I know I dare you.
There's a hole.
Just some random slut.
Go on. Oh no! Did I kill Lethal?
You killed Lethal. The last thing Mandy's going to hear if she watches this fight is
Did we cover the part down here?
Yeah, I thought that was a frog, not a kangaroo.
Oh no! What happened to Lethal?
There's a second image, by the way. Should I show him?
That was the wrong
Not
time.
yet.
I love her outfit, though, huh?
Yeah.
That is in the bottom right.
Yeah, no, Mandy, this is her butt docs, or one of her butt docs is early on in the.
Oh, I love that picture.
In the Wart the Wizard campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got, what's his name? Robert Storms.
Yeah.
All right, this is back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was wondering what happened. Because you cut out right when I said, "Oh, that's Mandy."
I didn't. Yeah, I heard that, and then I don't know. My phone's overheating. But then you have me, man of the hour in the tuxedo with my bitch of the evening, Grace Randolph, who has the Twinkies hanging out of her mouth before the Twinkies goes in her mouth. And on the ground, it would appear I have, I believe that is Red Gaze accepting my love from a strap-on. This is
close. It's Robert Storms.
Now, this is all happening at my birthday party. It's just another wild birthday party. I think the main thing to take away from this is the fact that my birthday parties consist of people cheering a kangaroo fucking a pig.
While you're being watched over by the kind spirit of Angus Past up there by Batwoman.
No, that's just my.
You really know how to throw parties, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, when you meme, you got to have a seal. You got like Man of Sex had moss on all of his memes.
Yeah, you got to watermark your shit, definitely, man.
Yeah, we don't want to have any imitation gay, kangaroo
show the other one.
All right, lads. That's my lunch break over. I do have to go. I'm hoping my breakdown makes sense. But like I said,
apologize to Mandy. Apologize.
The key thing. I think the key thing is we have a dead man cheering a kangaroo fucking a pig.
That's true.
Dude, I almost put a stingray behind him, like photobombing Steve Irwin.
Oh God!
I was like,
that
"What's his birthday meme? That would be too mean." And so I almost had getting photobombed.
I gotta go.
Take care, man. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I wish you could add the sounds of him going, "Oh, oh, oh."
Rookie, pull up the one with Stevie J as the main character.
I mean, Kermit, what did you think when you saw the kangaroo F in the pig? What did you think? Like, how did you feel about that on the inside?
I don't have feelings, but no, it made me a little jealous.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, there's the Death Star, the Dick Star.
That is the big star.
This is going to be shortly available on Angus's,
my Teespring.
Dude, you should make a pair of pants out of that, actually.
Stevie J, he made a new avatar, and it's this picture with the Death Star behind him. And I was like, dude, people in my chat know I already have this Death Star made. And I was like, you're going to regret this.
Look, the group of fairies in the bottom right corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy with the mustache, doesn't he look like the comic book Disney just made of Briggs?
I think I shared something from one of their new weird.
Did you guys see the comic book where it's the two gay guys and it's
it's like a Star Wars Vacation of gay.
Yeah,
it looks like servers at a gay bar.
Yeah, the guy who bangs Porkins and who's the famous? Isn't there a famous Star Wars character with Porkins in it? This gay guy, and they're gay in the comic too.
Huh.
Steven, I want to get your breakdown of this as an author. Someone creating art. Let's get your rundown of this.
Oh Jesus. Okay, now I put me on the spot. Well, let's see. We have there's Ryan Johnson, and he's staring at Steve's ass. Yeah, he's staring right at his ass. And he's intently staring at it. He's thinking about just sliding those eyes between those cheeks and just burying his face in it. And Pixelated Ryan's checking that out, and he's like, I never really thought about it like that. Yeah, I know, maybe. And the gay guys, the gay servers over there, they're with their leader, and their leader is a trans woman, and she's checking that out too and going, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I think I might get behind Ryan and create a Lucky Pierre. And if y'all don't know what a Lucky Pierre is, you need to go look that shit up right now. And then let's see. Well, there's Angus, and Angus is kind of like, hey, would you like a Slurpee? He's
I call this iconic little template meme for people. It's meme material of myself. I call it Teehee Angus.
That's Teehee. That's definitely a Teehee Angus. And Ahsoka's actually coming out of his ass. Like, she's getting out. She's climbing out of his ass because she doesn't want to get hit by Ryan Johnson. Anything to do with Ryan Johnson, and especially his eyes, his penis eyes. And that's Rosico. She's coming in to actually save it because she's fighting to save things that she loves. So
she's going to push him out of the way of the laser dick.
Right, and it's going to fly right up her ass, and then her wig's going to fall off. Yeah. And
do you realize who Ahsoka is, though?
That's the cosplayer, isn't it?
No, it's Brie Larson.
That's Brie Larson?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Did somebody make that up, or did she think?
Yeah, someone made that up. It's on articles with this.
Well, she is then most definitely climbing out of his ass because she needs one of her own. So while she is escaping the ass, she is going to grab as much of it as she can and pull away.
I think he's actually giving birth to her, some kind of butt baby.
Yes, she is an ass. She's an ass child.
And Pixelated Ryan is like, I do not approve.
He is the pixelated stare of no. That's what that
is. No.
Ryan Johnson looks so determined to send that right home.
Oh my god, dude, he is staring at his ass. That dude's ass is getting hot.
The idea here was, I saw the avatar on Twitter from Stevie, his new profile pic, and the Dester behind it. I'm like, my guys in my chat know I already have this template with the Death Star. I was just imagining like Steve with this kind of smirk. It's like fire at will. Oh man, I love being in War Campaign, and I'm glad I can bring some of this to the fandom menace.
So here's the deep philosophical question on everyone's minds, Angus, is if Obi-Wan Kenobi is somewhere on that Death Star trying to shut down that dick beam, is he a Jedi Master cock blocker?
Huh.
That would be a new force power.
These are the questions of life.
Yeah, I think that's only left to artists and philosophers and, guys with long beards who sit on mountains in China.
This is good. All right, we got the Joker out of the Ricky, I don't think we got your take on the Joker.
All right, yeah, I went into it kind of similar to Steven, or I was not expecting to enjoy it, but I came out freaking loving it. I had my eyes glued to the screen the whole time. I was just paying attention the whole time, and I was like, dude, that's freaking awesome. I have not seen Taxi Driver or King of Comedy. I've seen some of King of Comedy, but not all of it, so I didn't really fully get any other vibes from other movies with it. So I don't know. I enjoyed it big time. I'd give it like a big old 10 out of 10. Honestly, it just satisfied in a surprising way, and it's like the type of movie that I don't want to see, but I'm glad that I saw it.
Like a dick beam. I got you. 10 out of 10.
Kind of, yeah. It's like you don't want to see it. It's like, oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna pick out to see, but it's like I'm glad that I saw it.
Right,
dude. I was telling you this, Ricky. Maybe Steven and the rest will appreciate this, but there was multiple times in this movie, and I don't know if this was Todd Phillips' kind of suave comedy aspect coming into this serious film, or if it's just I'm demented, and I'm also a former army guy, so our humor's already warped. But like when he's in the comedy club and that guy's about to leave, he's telling a sex joke about it's like sex for men is like a parking lot, like, oh, there's a spot. There's a spot. It's like, oh, it's handicapped. Well, I hope my friends don't see, And I just like died laughing, like no one else laughed. And I was like, oh god, I hope the incel police aren't here.
I laughed hysterically too, Angus. Like when people like at odd times, like I cried in the midget scene.
I know.
Yeah, there was a few times.
That was classic Joker, though. That's when I knew it was finally happening.
When he went like, "Boo!"
I got a spoiler question for you guys. I wanted to know what your guys' take is because, well, I mean, spoilers is okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that Thomas Wayne was his father. What do you guys think? Because they at the end you see that there was some sexual or some relationship with Wayne and his mom. So if they're lying about that, well, like I think Wayne could easily had the records manipulated.
Well, I mean, Bert, what do I always say? Crazy women have the best of that.
Yeah.
So maybe Thomas had to get some of that. That's a
he had to
possibility.
fuck that girl from 6 feet under, man.
He'd probably like to go fuck her down in that nasty ass house of hers too. It probably was a turn on for him.
Like down in the cave before it was the Bat Cave when it was all dirty and musty.
Yeah.
Well, he gets Alfred to drop him off like a block away from her house because he can't be seen.
Right, and they walk into that.
Like
it's called the Bat Hole.
That's good.
Yeah. They walk through like the Bat Hole from the '60s show with all the vines hanging over it.
No, here's an idea that I offered Star Wars Only a couple weeks ago. I think that, like, the laugh. I've been trying to practice attempting this laugh. Where it's like, I'm sad faced, but I'm laughing. That pained laugh that he perfected. Like that's really hard to do. It goes against like just your biology. It
sounded like it was some sort of defense mechanism, like a nervous tick.
I have that problem actually.
Yeah.
I get in fights with my wife, whatever, we argue, and sometimes, especially when she says like the word funny or you laugh, blah blah, like criticizing me, it makes me laugh. I'm like, ah, damn it, I smile and she's funny. Like, oh, great, you're laughing. This is funny. It's like, no, you said it. Now I'm thinking funny thoughts. So I related to that aspect too much, But my idea is that this wasn't like a turn. He was always the Joker, and Arthur was trying to Arthur is slowly dying in him, and he just needs these acts to happen. I think the movie's actually an argument or a analysis of like, are you born evil or is it inherent? Because this laugh's always there, and at the end, the laugh is like, the Joker's here, and there's no more like Arthur where I'm like, I'm sad, I'm depressed. It's like he's kind of got embodied that. Now I'm always laughing.
Or like you said, the Gollum Smeagol effect.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Like Gollum was already there, in intrinsic to Smeagol. Just needed that push. you know. And I think that's what happened in Joker. I think Joker is already in there, you know, especially from the trauma and everything, and he's trying to like break out of Arthur.
I think that this Joker story is just like any other Joker story. It's a remembrance, and every time the Joker remembers his origin story, he remembers it differently. That's the way I look at it. So I don't take it like as canon. I just enjoy the story.
No, okay. For me, it's like it's not like hard set canon, like all these events, but I think like the end result and like, you know, I think that persona is supposed to be like, yeah, that's him, but you know, all the things in between, getting to he's in Arkham or wherever. Yeah, it could be 10 different stories, but I think, you know, they'll kind of have the same gist, and that same beginning.
Do you think the Joker gets laid? I mean, how do you think he is with the ladies? Do you think, you know? Do you think he gets it?
I don't know, you know, because if you go off of like Killing Joke, he's, you know, a rapist. So
well, I'm not talking about.
He's a villain, so I don't think he doesn't have a problem.
That's a bad thing, right?
Kicking his rocks, you know, or whatever. But getting it, you know, in a good way, that's a different argument.
You think the Shaft is white? I mean, never mind. These are thoughts I have.
No, so he was like, I wonder if his pubes are green too.
Does the carpet match the drape?
In the chat, I want to say hell Demagenai.
Hey, what's up, Demagenai?
Yeah.
I didn't mean for you to walk in. I was talking about Joker.
I really think that there's something valid here when it comes to how Joker starts to develop in the movie versus how the mainstream media is treating this, because in the movie the mainstream media is part of why he becomes who he becomes, right? So he wants to be a comedian, he wants to be a clown, make people laugh because his whole life is horse shit, and he goes on to an amateur night and basically bombs, and he's flipping through that book of like jokes that are fucked up, but like he thinks they're funny. And fucking you talked about Taxi Driver, right? The man himself sees that, makes fun of him on TV, and invites him to go on TV so he can make fun of him. Yeah. And Arthur knows the whole time. So what does he do? The best performance of his life. And the other thing I thought was really clever is you watch the campy like 60s show, you watched 89 Batman, you don't know where the fuck his mob came from. Just like, what was he, like mega rich, or he robbed banks all the time and could pay people to dress up in clown suits? Well, this actually provides an explanation of why there's all these clown people all of a sudden. And because they're emulating this dude who stood up to the people that they feel like they're being oppressed by. And the fact that they did this in a thoughtful way and made it seem, it's kind of like the antithesis of what we get from Marvel Studios. All the big spectacle and like cities are always getting destroyed, and there's aliens and portals to Dormammu, and you know, and this is like a real fucking movie. Like you can really see how this could actually happen. So
yeah,
you know,
so something to add to that. I think why people are so freaked out, just like Get Out. Now, Get Out was harder for the media to attack because you got a black cast with white villains and a black director. It's hard for you to go at that, even though he's criticizing white liberal racism. You know, the people that voted for Obama. You know, this movie, you know, is a white character and he's violent and shit. It's making him look in the mirror because, you know, like when that Florida gun shooting happened with, you know, like the David Hogg and his lackeys, whatever, it became big from this afterwards. There was rhetoric from one of the girls that, you know, became like a feminist, shave her head on this afterwards, where she was saying, like, people were saying like, well, why weren't y'all friends with him? Maybe he wouldn't have done this if y'all actually like acknowledged him and didn't isolate him. And they're like, well, if you knew him, you'd know why we isolated him and why we thought he was a freak and this and that. And it's like, it holds a mirror to people like that, you know, of like, it's kind of arguing that like society makes, you know, the incel or the violent, you know, mass shooter, you know, that society plays a big part to play, especially when you cancel or just, you know, throw people to the side. It comes back to bite you in the ass. And it's those other people that generate that, and they don't like seeing that example thrown back.
it's something that the government also endorses, in my belief. You know, I've stated this many times that in the past 20 years, we've become a very accepting of lifestyles and choices that we would have never imagined accepting 30, 40, 50 years ago. And so as we begin to unify and begin to accept each other for who we are, we need the people at the top, the government, you know, the rich, the ultra rich, you know, they need to keep us fighting. So they manufacture these things using media outlets and entertainment venues and bullshit politics.
Yes, they do. And a matter of fact, David Hogg's dad is an FBI intel guy. So I really think that was a cooked up scheme to get rid of Second Amendment rights. But, you know, I'm kind of diverging from the topic. So some other time.
Rookie, your thoughts on No, I'm joking. Kermit, I want to get your thoughts, you know, given your background and your relationship, your thoughts on Mr. Hogg.
Mm-hmm.
Bert's muted.
I think Kermit's. I think he's with the hog.
Hey, what's up, drunk?
He's high on the hog.
Yeah. I imagine he does have to climb up there with that frail body.
All right. What I was saying earlier about the money and stuff with Joker compared to Endgame and all this reminds me of what I said about Avatar, where people are like, "Yeah, I knocked off Avatar." Like, I'm an Avatar fanboy. I don't talk about it all the time, but I get really tired of everyone crying about it being Dance with the Wolves in space.
I love Avatar too.
It's like, dude, you realize we're a Star Wars community. Star Wars, at least in its inception, is the ultimate plagiarism of humanity and its storytelling. You know, there's no one thing you can take away and be like, that Star Wars. Like, you know, you got the prodigal son, you got Satan, you got Buddhism, you got all this stuff. Knights Templar. There's so much history, mythology put in Star Wars. It's the biggest ripoff. It's the biggest con job in that way. You know, no one thought to put it all together, so it is original, but it is not original at the same time. But no one sees it that way, as opposed to Avatar tells the simple story.
He sees King Arthur, he sees Dune, and he sees you know, Buck Rogers, and he's like, "Fuck yeah," you know.
Yeah, I get really irritated with the whole Avatar hate for whatever reason. It was a spectacle film with new tech that you want to go simple when you're wowing people, because if you wow them visually and tell a complex story, people will just get overwhelmed. You gotta think like if you're making money. Regardless, people made this big deal about Avengers Endgame knocking it off by like I don't know. 100 million, something like that. I don't know what the exact number was, but it knocked it off. And it's like, you realize it took about 11 years for them to build up to this movie, to knock off that movie.
Yes.
Compared, and you look at Joker, it's, you know, like, this is huge that it's making as much money back as Endgame. You come out with a crippled DCEU that has no vision going forward of, like, besides copying Marvel.
And they're about to take on Jar Jar Abrams.
And you have no Batman in this movie. You have just an origin with no Batman in the universe. And a bad-looking suit for what we're, you know, used to a Joker. After Jared Leto has been a thing, and it's making as much profit. That's the testament. And it's like, I'm loving it because it's like, it's not necessarily original, but it's, you know, someone slipped in a real film under the guise of a comic movie.
But the presentation, the production itself is not it is something we haven't seen in a very long time. The story is the movie. It's not just flashes. It's not CGI. It's not all that like we're used to getting. We get bombarded with movie after movie after movie with the CGI and green screens and all this shit. The story itself is really well done, and the acting is well executed, and that's why it's making the kind of money it's getting.
Sorry, I just saw this meme. Someone made a Star Wars title. It says Star Wars: The Demise of Skywalker. It's so simple but so clever. Moral, you were showing your camera for a minute. Was there something you were about to unveil?
Oh, I was just being a dork. You know, I'm still trying to get used to this like technology thing. You probably can't even see my face.
No, you outside?
Put the camera around. Yeah, I was outside. I was trying to be a dweeb, but it's not going to work. So
only rookies allowed to be a dweeb.
I try to show my face, but like if I'm not a Skull, I'm Wolverine. You know.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. You were talking about your girlfriend a moment ago.
Yeah.
Do you ever think she'd come on, at least on these streams? If not, maybe start making her own content?
She might say hello, but I think it would be more like how EVS and Andrea are, where she doesn't want to be like the focal point of all this shit. But trust me, I wouldn't get with somebody who wasn't like an awesome. She's a unicorn, dude. She hot blonde, loves Game of Thrones, loves all this dork stuff, puts up with my ass, and you know. So you got to give it to the woman.
Puts up with your ass. Do you have a flatulence problem, Immortal?
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking like backhole kind of territory. Humor.
Well, no, because you remember the video for Ben caught stealing by it's like that where you tie on the plastic ass and you put on a dress and you go to the store and you shove cucumbers into your plastic ass.
I don't know about that.
You're probably too young for that, Angus.
Yeah. All right, next topic. HBO Max. Well, I'll start with Rookie Critic because he's the stream guy. He is a guy I've been waiting. How many months have I been waiting for like your streaming wars content, Rookie?
Like a year.
Yeah. I mean,
I finally started it out by putting out the wrap. So I mean, that's the beginning. There's plenty more to come now.
Yeah, you give me crap for the Black Panther video. That's just taking me forever to craft what I want, And I got the streaming thing with you.
Well, the difference is I actually did mine.
Yeah, you started with a wrap, but whatever.
Well, yeah, but everything's shifting with the streaming. So, can you briefly though? Can you go over what the streaming issue is with the thingy? Because I actually
okay. So this isn't necessarily a. I want to address it like just in a video. There's so much to like make sure you get across. So HBO Max, Warner Brothers, what have you, they unveiled this presentation of their new streaming thing. Like HBO already has HBO Now, but they're upgrading or changing to Max. So I think it's like $15, or you pay cheaper for commercials like Hulu. It's going to have all this stuff. They're going to essentially shift over successful DC Universe stuff over. Biggest thing content-wise, besides, of course, Game of Thrones and Nicole Kidman, I think, having a deal with Warner Brothers was they got this thing where it's like different actors will give you like, my favorite genre movie is blank Warner Brothers film, so it's like Zac Efron loves The Exorcist. Here's his little blurb, so it's got kind of personalized Hollywood insight to kind of shift you to watch stuff. They're going off of like a quality versus quantity analytics for watch time. They're pushing for women viewers because they're like a big demographic for viewership, maybe because of housewives, mothers. I'm not sure. They're going to have an all age range kind of catch-all. Conan is, I think, producing some stand-up content to compete with Netflix. You got Elmo is going to have a talk show. But yeah, the biggest thing was Green Lantern. The guy producing all of the CW stuff is getting $100 million Green Lantern show. So that's kind of everything. Wow. I'll let you take off with that. I got to help my wife really quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. So I got some phlegm. Okay.
You.
But no, so HBO is basically just kind of expanding the thing. I gotta look up this article or something because it seems like a lot to comment on.
Yeah, because I'm interested in knowing if the guy that's doing the CW shows, the Arrowverse, if he's going to do a Green Lantern, does that mean Lantern's going to be in the Arrowverse? Or
yeah, that would be interesting. And if that's the case, for the love of God, they need to quit some of these Arrowverse shows because, like, I'm okay if they use these characters in each other's shows, but for the love of God, if there's going to be like a 6th or 7th edition spinoff show to the Arrow, like they need to end the Arrow, the show at least. God, so there's not like 1,000 episodes to catch up with.
No doubt.
I don't know. So like with the HBO doing that, I mean that sounds fine, I guess. I don't really understand how that works if they can have DC stuff now, considering DC is their own streaming service now. But
Dude,
I need to kind of look more into this because that's not really making sense to me.
It would be so cool if HBO made a really cool DC TV series, but I doubt they're gonna make it like that if it's the guy from the CW because that shit's hella lame.
Yeah, I mean, I guess HBO would be of interest because they have Game of Thrones, but
I mean, the Spawn series from back in the day was really good. I mean, I guess it's going to be live action. It's not going to be a cartoon.
I never watched that. Steven.
Go back and watch Spawn, dude. You will like it. It's pretty nasty.
All right, I feel like I need more information to give a better opinion because I don't really. They said there was an issue. I thought this was something to do with movie theaters or with or with Disney holding movies or something from like Fox. That's what I thought.
Well, why don't you just bullshit your way through it? Just give a hypothetical. Just go into your own universe and tell us what you think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't really understand it enough to give a real comment because, like, it's HBO just can
make something up, like
now.
you know, Green Lantern's gonna be riding a unicorn. You know, I think that's gonna be great. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I personally don't care about Green Lantern, so I don't really.
What? You don't like Green Lantern?
I said I didn't like him. I said I don't care for him. I don't really. I've only seen the Justice League animated series version, and then or the Ryan Reynolds. Like,
okay, I forget.
See, I really think that the potential of the Green Lantern ring is sorely underused in his character portrayals. If you have this cosmic ring that could build this green energy field that lasts as long as you can think about it, why would you make like a gigantic baseball mitt or like a locomotive or something like that? The things that I think would be clever is if he made like a box that had 1,000 rooms in it that you can't escape from. You know, just shit like that. Like,
well, because
why would you bother with
keep that open though? You can't just have that
shit. Yeah, but or like make a ring that flings them to a wormhole on the other side of the galaxy.
No, I think it has limits though, right?
Does it? I know there's a governing body. There's different color rings that fucking interact.
Right.
Yeah.
I assume
if we get
1,000.
Yeah, if we get like 20 million likes, I think EVS will jump on and explain all this for us. So.
Yeah, there's even one ring that's only function is to give the green ones more power. That's all it does.
What?
Yeah, I swear to God, I forget what the color they are.
That
might be white. Yeah, that's
the color of white.
Well, I thought the white one was the most powerful one, but there's something about like the blue ring. Like you have to have like unwavering faith in what the fuck you're about, or it doesn't work. Like somehow the blue ring and the green ring get together and turn you into a Megazord or something.
That's freaking awesome. I'd love to be a Transformer.
See, that would be interesting. That would get somebody like me to go watch. Like
the pink ring, I heard gets you laid.
Oh yeah,
that's what I heard. Yeah.
Angus, now that you're back though, real quick. So, what was the controversial part? What you were saying?
Okay. So there was some actually that really caught me off. Like I see it as like, oh wow, this is gonna be like just like we were talking about the other day with the Netflix thing where they got like the play speed to like watch faster, and what is that a sign of?
Are you kidding me?
Well, you see, I only heard these vague things so far, and I have no idea what actually is what's going on with all these things. So I want to look into this now because I don't understand.
Hold on. So there was a fast forward button that just makes the scenes go a little faster, so you can watch it faster.
Yes. Well, that's for Netflix. I don't think HBO has it, and HBO is also going to keep what Disney Plus is copying, where they they release weekly instead of letting you binge. But the big thing that's weird because this is AT&T ultimately. They're having like some iPhone deal. And goddamn, I'm trying to remember. There was one crazy aspect where it's like, I think it's like you get an iPhone, you get this for a year, and there's some other detail that's just slipping my mind at the moment. Let me try to find it.
Is the iPhone a double speed too?
No.
So basically, Netflix is making a setting for people on cocaine.
Yeah, or we can play it slower. The controversy was from Judd Apatow and other directors getting in a hissy fit, like, I made this art this way, and presented as such, and it's like, people are getting the option to watch it faster. It's like it's not Netflix's fault that they're giving a tool that clearly has a market to be made for.
It's kind of funny because that's like saying that you're supposed to watch my movie in a suit with in a tie on a date with a girl. Or it's like,
Right.
yeah, but what if I'm just gonna be in my sweats at home, like watching it there? Like it's not meant to be watched that way.
How dare you? You heathen! You pleb.
You can watch it how you want.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. It's like, who the hell are you to, like, tell me how I can watch your movie? Like, I can just not watch your shit, Judd Apatow. The last thing I watched of yours was Vice, and that was pure propaganda.
So the controversy was more what the directors were saying about this, complaining.
Yeah, we're kind of blending Netflix and HBO Max, but yeah, Netflix has this mobile option to fast forward or slow down the content, and
I think
the
that's fine.
directors hate this. But with HBO Max, I know there's something I'm missing, but it just really popped off like some kind of like red alert for me, where I'm like, I don't
How can
like this.
HBO have access to DC stuff?
Oh no, HBO is part of Warner Brothers, so yeah, that's how
Well, then why did they make a DC service?
I don't know. I think it's just to capitalize on like Snyder Cut, Hot Topic, Harley Quinn fans.
Because I would have probably gotten an HBO subscription if DC content was going to mostly be on there as well.
Well, I'm wondering how this works with Amazon, because like there's the HBO upgrade. So it's getting
What I
weird.
want to know is does the DC service, streaming service, do they have the settings of Thorazine and Ritalin, or?
Well, they're a little behind. Marvel has to set the stage first.
Yeah, let me try to find all these details so I can, because I heard this from the Grace Randolph video recapping everything, and there's just that one detail. I don't know if it was to do with like the all ages aspect, or one thing is they're gonna have like all the seasons of like Doctor Who and Sesame Street. It sounds like it's just like absorb our content, kind of like more so than the culture already is. Netflix, that new feature on the mobile app right now that they're testing to watch faster or slower is part of that. And I think, the HBO catch-all is also another like consume my content, all ages.
What's kind of funny about the slowing down content thing is I think a lot of people will probably use that more than the speed up one, because there's so many quick cuts in shows and movies these days that are just like, what the hell happened?
I'm using it for every boob scene.
Yeah. Any movie for a fleeting second, they're going to be slowed down so much on those scenes. You're like, oh man, look at that, or like the ultimate cut of BBS where it shows Affleck's ass. That'll be slowed down a lot more.
I'm watching Porky's on half speed.
Yeah, I love Porky's.
Well, and there's no shortage of prima donna directors who will argue about their art form, but they're trying to make it sound like it's you remember when they were making those 3D movies where like it was on purpose that it was supposed to be 3D, like you were getting stabbed, and then when you watched it 2D, it was kind of like really stupid. It's not like that really, but more to the point that Angus was saying, and this goes back to even what Walton was discussing. All these big conglomerates grabbing up every little last studio to put their image and likeness on it, and then kind of force crap down our throats because we have no alternative. What kind of Disney do you want? Do you want Marvel Disney? Do you want Star Wars Disney? What kind of DC do you want?
The Fox Disney. See, I thought the issue was I heard that they're going to start putting Fox titles in the Disney vault.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then they're also using that. This was another article just came up where they're getting rid of shit like Die Hard. They don't want you to remember that.
That's what I was saying. Like, put those in the vault for 7 years.
Yep.
And maybe have a release later.
I think there was that iPhone incentive from AT&T. Damn it keeps slipping my mind, because I'm looking over this article trying to like skim through the details. But the Green Lantern thing was the biggest thing, and what I'm thinking, this will go into what I was talking about with Max the other day about vaulting stuff, not just Disney but all these companies with IPs, is I think theaters, if they don't just fall out and it's just streaming, as the future. Maybe summertime theaters will be open for like the blockbusters, and maybe winter if there's enough in like Christmas time.
Well,
but I think what they're going to do is like, all right, let's get you hooked. Let's introduce you to Green Lantern. Let's do Kyle Rayner or like Jessica Cruz and the Simon Baz, the Islamic one. And get you hooked on that, build a base that starts growing because the IP, it's tied to the DCEU somehow, it's a show. And then to hook you, you got to go to the theater to watch the Green Lantern film with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and that's how they force you to consume.
Well, no, you have half of it, Angus. What they're going to do is they're going to have Disney movie theaters, and then you'll only be able to see their Marvel or Lucasfilm or whatever, Fox movies only at the Disney movie theaters. Same with the other ones. So you can only see those at their theaters that they bought that are just for them.
Yeah, that's the other aspect that I've said that before. So the Green Lantern kind of analogy is just an add-on, but yeah, totally spot on with the theater aspect of them buying them up. I think that's the future. If not,
theaters will be dead, but they'll just take them under their wing. Theaters will just be part of their company's brand.
Do you like the cartoon characters on the Post cereal boxes or on the General Mills cereal boxes? Because you love all the cereals, but
that'd be crazy. Yeah, they could vault different cereals, or like you got to go to the Disney store to eat Cheerios.
Yeah, this seems to be where they're going. I mean, do you guys not feel it? Like they're trying to really own the actual types of product. You get Disney Pepsi. It's at the Disney store.
You need Disney water or electricity.
Exactly.
It's like how Coca-Cola tastes different at McDonald's than it tastes anywhere else.
Dude, you know what this is? You know what this is? Okay, so people don't know this because I only talk about Meth Gator, but there is another comic, and the first idea that I have that is me. All right, it's anthropomorphic world. It's kind of got like a Flashpoint Paradox kind of from here to that world introduction, and the idea is you're in an alternate reality. It's the same time, but everyone's anthropomorphic, so they're animal people. And Disney, or a Disney-like entity, has taken over everything. So even most minute things like condoms, there's like Trojan by Disney. This is showing you how intrinsically they've insidiously gotten everywhere. All right, and it's just crazy, because I was just trying to think of some wacky, like 1984 inspired, like kind of ridiculous, far-fetched, but it's like it's becoming that. It reminds me of there was some weird book I need to reread, just because it was different era of my life. I think I'd take it in more now, but there's these different chapters that bounce all over these timelines, and this one era you're in, there was like this apocalyptic war where the Coca-Cola had armies. So he's like, oh, look, there's an old Coca-Cola pistol, and here's this brand weaponry and this and that. Oh, there's that brand tank, and it's just like, where are we going? Disney already owns, like, they're building like a Vatican in Florida. So it's getting weird.
It is capitalism at its best, man.
I don't know. I see. This is my struggle being capitalist with everything, because I am all about, the general principle of adapt or die, free market. But when you have all the chips, there's no parity, like there's no free agency kind of example,
right?
In the market, then it's not actually fair. Like
that's a monopoly, man. Yeah. It's
like
probably most of the people listening, they're not old enough to remember this, but AT&T got broken up years and years ago because they were too fucking big. So they turned into like Southern Bell and all this other shit. And then, I hate to say it, under the auspices of George W. Bush, he really like deregulated a lot of that shit. So all the companies started grabbing up all the little subsidiaries once again, and the media really is like the indoctrination branch of this whole big tinfoil hat thing. So that's just my 2 cents.
I want to get Anal Egg by Disney.
Yeah, just wait until they have the Disney Presents Rookie's Quest. Yeah.
Oh, that's going to happen.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're gonna make you wear a red robe and
me.
like a pointy hat with stars all over it.
Absolutely, Rookie's going to totally sell out. And
It's like, honestly, if they didn't have so much control over what you do, I wouldn't mind. But the fact that they really restrict a lot of what you can do, it's like, no, like that's ridiculous. Like with the Star Wars director, so like, now you can't do any of this. It's like, really?
do y'all think y'all think Benioff and Weiss walked away because of a freaking deal with Netflix, or do you think Iger or Filoni, not Filoni, Feige stepped in? Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of where I was thinking there's gonna be more Star Wars talk. That's why the roast Tico's there. So I really do think Benioff and Weiss kind of realized, oh wow, like we're going from Game of Thrones where we can pretty much do anything within the confines of the built universe. Now we're going to Star Wars, where it's like a nightmare trying to make a story that is fresh but still Star Wars, and under the Disney umbrella with Kathleen Kennedy, where it's like is it worth it? To
in their history with working with the directors, like how many people did they disagree with?
Yeah, I really think despite all the kind of speculation and stuff in the media and all that, and the whole season 8 petition, all that, I really think it comes down to creativity, and they just kind of like thought, because this has apparently been brewing for 2 or 3 months now. Back in August, they were thinking about dipping out. So, I think they really got the idea of it's not worth losing the freedom to create like Netflix is giving us. And there's just like how will the way fandom is in general, what happened in Game of Thrones, what's already here in Star Wars, if you kind of double that up with them, it's just like if they start fresh, then it's like, well, you can't really bitch on them because they got to build it first, versus they're coming to Star Wars, they've made Rian Johnson type jokes, and it's just I really wanted to see what they would do with Star Wars. I just didn't think it would do well with Kennedy, but I was still going to give it a chance. So I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I want these artists to have a lot more leeway than they get.
Well, and to the Game of Thrones point, man, I really think Benioff and Weiss are fabulous interpreters of the written word.
Right.
They got into a little bit of trouble when they were left to their own auspices. But if they came to Disney and said something like, everybody loves the Knights of the Old Republic, everybody loves fucking Darth Bane, maybe we should do something like that. And they were like, nah, we can't use any of Lucas's shit because that's too Lucas. Why don't you figure out some way that Justin Timberlake can be a Jedi? And they were like, I'll get back to you on that, Disney. Yeah, we got a call from Netflix just now. So.
They're like, come up with something, and the Force needs to be transgender.
Exactly. The Force needs to be gender fluid. It needs to be the gender fluid force that penetrates us and surrounds us.
Oh God! I'll have to find this. We'll have to cover it another time, maybe Friday, if I can't find it because I got to charge my phone again. But I saw something, and maybe y'all might have seen this, but apparently, I'm assuming this trans porn worker, sex worker, wanted, or she's charging people with a hate crime for not casting them in a porn.
Yes, I read that.
Because they didn't want a penis or something.
Gay porn. That's gay porn. Do gay porn. What's the problem? I don't get it. I don't get it.
And I can't remember her story, but I read it because it was so ridiculous. And she's based out of the UK. And somebody saw one of her pictures, and this is not unlike many of the pictures that Angus bombards us with in private chats. Where she looks like a gorgeous woman, but if you look real closely, there's a little something in her pants. So some porn producer saw
that's called bonus content.
You know what? To you, it does, Angus.
Well, one of the producers of porno saw her above the waist pic and was like, "Holy shit! I'd love to offer you a role. Let's get going on this." He probably wanted some side benefits, And when he found out that she was pre-op, he said, "Oh, I didn't know that. No, I'm gonna retract my offer." And she got mad and went to the media, and she's talking about lawsuits and all this stuff.
You know what?
Yeah.
AIDS needs to make a comeback.
You know, I have a problem with false advertising myself. Yeah, I you know, like go to gay. Oh God, when she contacted, we're in a day and age where the person with a dick is being called a she. When she called the person to get the job or the interview, then she should have said, "I am pre-op." You know, like that should be a part of the application. You know, I don't think there's no shame in it. There's no shame in it. You know, just you got. Oh God, what am I saying? Just somebody take over.
Well, okay, so there are, if we're talking about porn in a very clean way, there are genres of porn that include actresses or actors of that ilk.
Right.
One of the movies that I remember hearing about being sensationalized was post-op male to female, and then a post-op female to male getting together and doing a movie together, right? And some people would just click on it because they're curious, and some people would be like, wow, that's brave, and add it to their virtue collection. But
like throwing the sausage into an Italian hoagie,
dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, totally. But you have to properly represent yourself, and if this person is reacting sheerly out of points for the rage culture or for the cancel culture, and let's be serious, like this guy, this producer dude, is probably not like a head of a company who has employees. He's probably like a dude in his. You know, he has like lights and a camera in his bedroom.
Got a 70s porn stash, hairy chest, and a gold chain.
So yeah, you're getting really hot on this, Steven.
Yeah, it sounds like this guy's in the Phantom Menace.
You know, when Angus goes quiet and we're talking about permutations of porn, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking. It'll come back to me. Continue. Sorry.
Well, yeah, just that there are avenues and venues, and this person was likely a not quite professional. He's probably still like producing a lot of shit in his house or in motels or whatever, and he was going to do it himself and be his own cameraman and you know, figure out everything like indie shit. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm talking to a chick with a dick."
Right. Then you realize black holes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I know what I was going to say. You're talking about false advertising. So that was a sort of big deal. It wasn't huge like it would be 10, 20 years ago because Playboy kind of fizzled out with, you know, the dawn of mass digital porn and them losing focus and everything. For a while, they got rid of the pinup centerfold. A lot of weird changes where it's like instead of entertainment for men, it's entertainment for all. Little SJW stuff like that is infiltrated hefts, baby. But you know, I've thought about that with the trickery or whatever. I get the angle. Perhaps they had a post-op, pretty attractive woman, trans woman, as like the centerfold or like the big thing one issue. And a lot of people were upset because it's like, oh, look at this babe. And it's like, wait, it's a dude. Oh, crap, you know.
Oh, did she look good?
Yeah, she looked pretty good. But I get the angle of, you know, tricking, so then maybe it kind of changes your perception and the whole fighting bigotry aspect, whatever, in a legitimate way. I can appreciate that. But it's disingenuous in the end. And I've had that, you know, kind of dilemma because there's a few super, in my opinion, hot trannies that, you know, if you don't see the bottom half, if you don't see the bulge, you're like, wow, that's a hot babe. I trick the guys all the time in chat. Like, and that's why the gender checks started because everyone's like, wait, can I like this? And, you know, I almost added my favorite, Serena Valentina, in my intro, but I'm like, no, I don't. You know, it's funny to trick your friends in private, be like, it's actually a dude. You're gay. You know, that's funny, but I didn't want to trick y'all. So, you know, if you see girls in my intros, they are girls. You know, don't fear, don't worry.
I do worry.
Well, the puppy dog girl, that is oh fuck, what's her name? My cherry crush. All right, and then the tattoo girl, that is Razor Candy. Both non-op women.
Dude, your Twitter, the stuff in our Twitter chats is like coming from the guy from the Human Centipede film. Hey, dude, on that note, man, I got to run. I got a show tonight, guys, but I'll talk to you guys later in the chat,
Hey,
okay?
Man, good luck with it.
All right. Take it easy, Logs. Congratulations on 1K, bro.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Hail, everybody.
Yep, hail.
Absolutely. No.
For new people coming into the chat, this is Black Angus Reviews channel, you know.
Yeah, sorry for coughing. The transition of the seasons is affecting my health. But yeah, other topics. See, have any of y'all been? I know. We'll refrain from that one we were talking about before the show, Immortal. But have you been reading any other comics? And this goes for the chat and the panel. Any comics people have been reading?
Well, yeah. I just finished up the series. This is the last issue that came out this month of Dead Man Logan. Dead Man Logan is obviously a sequel to Old Man Logan. And they find a interesting way to reassemble the Avengers and the Old Man Logan time frame to face the threat. Oh yeah, yeah. Like I didn't even know about this until like a couple weeks ago, because I get on my Wolverine kicks and I want to read all that shit. But yeah. There's even an issue where the resurrected Wolverine gets to have a beer with Old Man Logan. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Wait, so like two different universe Logans crossing paths?
Well, yeah. So the story of Old Man Logan is that this is an alternate universe where Mysterio uses his power of illusion to convince Wolverine that all the X-Men are all the bad guys converging on the mansion. But what's really happening is Wolverine thinks he's tearing apart bad guys, but he's really slaughtering all the X-Men. And at the end of that scene, Mysterio's like, ha 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 ha, you just killed your friends. And Wolverine's like, fuck, I just killed my friends. He goes and sticks his head underneath a train that's coming by. And because he has adamantium, it doesn't kill him, but he's like, well, it hurt a lot. He refuses to pop his claws for like 50 fucking years.
Wow.
And he gets thrown into like a time loop, and he comes back to a time where the X-Men are still alive. So he's dealing with the PTSD. Yet at the same time, he has his family. And in Dead Man Logan, his healing factor is fucked. Like he's dying of adamantium poisoning, which is very much the same in the Logan movie. But he gets back to his own time, and he has to deal with the ramifications of stuff that he set up by abandoning his time to begin with. So that's kind of the spoiler-free review. Very good.
That sounds good.
So something I'm curious about, because I know there's been arguments, if not variations, of the healing factor. And before I get into that, I just want to ask, I just want to put in your mind, the "Hey You Guys" guy from
yeah.
Yeah. All right, so just keep this in mind. All right, we're just going to round back. So there's this argument of like, is his adamantium like kind of a living thing with his regeneration? I think in the new Hickman X-Men, he like gets his arm cut off, but he's regenerating adamantium. So, if I'm not mistaken, so it's a question, at least depending on the author, if not in canon, that the adamantium can be written as like part of his growth. All right. So with him getting run over by the train repeatedly, his head, imagining it getting crushed and stuff. All right. Now, think about this. If this is important, if his adamantium regenerates or not, because if he's putting his head under a train and it's like gadunk, 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 and his head's getting bashed in and stuff, his brain will regenerate. But if the adamantium doesn't regenerate, does he have like a crushed Coke can head, and is he like the Goonies guy at that point?
Well, I can answer for Wolverine fans, but what do you guys think?
Baby Ruth.
Okay, well, so in the comics, adamantium is indestructible, and to me, see, I have, this is going to sound completely lame, but I have a degree in like anatomy and physiology.
Can't vibranium take out adamantium though?
Vibranium was one of the parent alloys. Yes. The story goes that the guy who invented adamantium fell asleep while it was smelting, so he lost the recipe for it. But certain government agencies have rediscovered it and used it to, like for instance, coat Sabretooth's claws with adamantium. He couldn't survive the process for an entire skeleton, but they could turn his claws into that. So okay. And then like Lady Deathstrike, supposedly that was her dad who came up with the whole recipe, and she's pissed off because she thought that was going to be for her. You know, just shit like that. So, but as an expert in anatomy, you got to realize that between your bones and your joints are like layers of cartilage and like sinew and connective tissues that if a train ran over your C-spine in the right way, it could perhaps sever some of that. But your C-spine has what are called spinous processes that go down and kind of cover up the areas where like your spinal cord would be sticking out. So the way that they showed him, like he was basically prostrate, like he was laying flat on the ground with his stomach on the ground, his head was on top, well, his neck was on top of the rail, so the train, if it rolled over his bone, the adamantium would be strong enough to repel the steel of the train wheel, but it would fuck up his flesh. So like his neck would be all cut up, he'd be bleeding out and all this kind of stuff. And once the train passed, he would heal and walk away. That's the science of this particular panel.
That would really mess up the singing voice.
It would, yeah. I don't know that Logan sang much though. Maybe when he was drunk, but from what I understand, his healing factor prevents him from getting drunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ricky, have you been venturing at all on the website I give you for comics, or are you just being lazy?
You're gonna say porn.
that will start very soon, actually, because
wait, like, porn or comics?
Well, I mean, doesn't matter. Either way,
not really.
November 1st is like the day that I kind of set in my own head to, try to, look into more comic stuff. To try to, I feel like after I get off work, there's like a good hour and a half before I go to bed usually. So I feel like I could fill like a good 45 minutes reading comics. So I plan on trying to make that routine kind of thing.
The other 45 minutes is the porn.
45 minutes is the what?
The porn is that the final 45 minutes, or
no? That's like, for the comic.
Marathon it, or do you just go for like 15 and you're done?
The 45 minutes is for the comic book, of course.
Oh,
the rest is for the porn, like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Not that I need that much time, but
It's like you get it out of the way first, so your animal's not bothering you, and then you can research in a scholarly manner, or do you build up and then like before you go to sleep kind of thing? Because that's
do you use it as a sedative? Is what he's trying to do.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
I guess it's like steered away from masturbation. Steered away from masturbation.
No, not steering away. I didn't have a thought on it, left or right.
You, sir, you did not have a thought on that.
I mean, we talked about chicks with dicks. I'm kind of satisfied.
Okay, yeah, okay, dig it.
Okay.
Mortal had to go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe his phone died or something, but hopefully he comes back in.
Going to bed in 10 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes StreamYards, when you're on your phone, it heats up really bad.
Yeah,
that's me.
And it drains pretty quick.
Oh wait, here he is. Okay, awesome. I didn't want to talk comics, then he leaves. But yeah, Steven, anything with you, or you just focus on your book and your
I've been writing. I haven't even been able to watch TV or anything. I've just been working, being a dad, writing and editing and promoting. And oh my God, going to be on Erotics this Friday, everyone. And I'm going to be on Geeks and Gamers soon, and then I'm going to be on that Star Wars girl when she comes back from vacation. So that's all I have lined up right now. I was on Midnight's Edge After Dark the other night for the first time, and that was really cool. I got to be on with Mecca, and Rob and Tom, and talking bullshit with them. Those are Star Trek guys, so it was cool to talk to them. About some Trek.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, and then Mecca, I got to flirt with Mecca for like 5 minutes. I figured, why not? I'm right there, So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I told her that Mecha cleavage videos are my favorite videos.
Yeah, you mean her booby window?
Yeah.
Not many people know this, but Mecca actually has a really good singing voice. And back before Mary Mayhem,
a really good set of tits. Like,
well, I think Steven already covered that territory. But no, before Mary Mayhem blew up, she was running Marioki. I don't know if she does that anymore. I got to be on with Tom and Mecca and Mary and who else? Somebody else.
From time to time, I think.
Yeah. Shout out to her,
Oh yeah, I love Mecca. Yeah, she's going to be in the next book, and Tom and Rob are getting involved in the next one too. So, or the third one. It might be the third one that I have those guys working on.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy for you, man. I'm glad doing. I would actually love you to get. I'll see if this will happen. I said earlier, Max, not necessarily him, but his family is going through an ordeal. So he actually had some cool plans. With Star Wars only derailed for the time being, but
Mad Max?
Yeah, and
what's going on with his family?
Sorry, what?
Is he okay? You said that something.
Yeah. He just father-in-law situation. It was public. It was a public comment. Apparently, his father-in-law's, I guess, in his final death throes or what have you. So, yeah.
My mom loved him. It's tough to go through.
Yeah, but no, I would actually. I'll throw this idea by him, especially because there's a bit of conflict of at least thought, or whatever. Maybe y'all could come to terms because me and him, if you don't know, when we I found him somehow in the algorithm. And suggestions, and so then I watched him. But then he started doing Phantom Menace videos about the Disney celebration, and I just thought, like he had a bad angle. So I didn't subscribe because it was like kind of becoming consistent. It wasn't just one time. And I'm like, I just, this is a big point. I don't agree. I just want to watch you. But I didn't know he stayed subbed to me. That's kind of his ethics with YouTube. He's like, I sub you for life. I'm like, cool, I guess. But
that's cool.
That's
cool.
And so he saw my Phantom Menace Creators Fund that I was trying to push for Rookie and Josiah, and he's like, he thought I was just e-begging or something. It's like, no, I'm trying to take Phantom Menace to the next step. Like your complaints, this is a way to fix it in some way. Like I don't have money to do this myself. I'm an idea guy. I'm not necessarily like a creator, but I can, be a part of a creative team. And this is what I'm trying to bring to the table. If we get success, maybe more will start coming out. Like Comicsgate, it was just a risk by Richard and EVS, and then it became successful. And then a lot of people have popped out of nowhere, because they saw an example. So that's what I was trying to start. Didn't work out, at least this first time. But we had a conversation. I kind of backhand like, oh, you're the guy against super chats, but we talked, and so we actually had dialogue, and he's kind of changed his tune about a lot of things. Different. He bought Starblades from Comicsgate from Kyle Ritter. So
that's cool.
Yeah, and so I would love to see y'all debate / converse in a stream about Phantom Menace in your book.
Yeah, so, maybe we can do that. So.
I'll do my part to see that happen during your campaign. Maybe you'll win some of his fans that are very against us in general, and vice versa. Maybe bring some people on our side to him that are against him.
Well, there's a lot of points that I agree on with Max. Like I don't totally disagree with the guy. We do agree on quite a few things.
Yeah, I love the guy.
Yeah.
Me and him have the same angle. Like why we're here. I'm here for. For at least internet friendship and discussion, because I love film. I'll be critical, but at the end of the day, I want to talk about what I like or the shortcomings of something that I like.
Right.
Well, yeah, a healthy discussion, and this is why I've always liked you, Angus, has to include some possible solution or at least an alternative path. If you're just sitting there bitching the entire time, well, it gets a little old.
Agreed.
I mean, I was talking to this about Rookie yesterday. There's a saturation right now of negative channels, and I think it's kind of at least changing the perception of what the Phantom Menace is.
Yeah. I actually I've been talking about this. I'm going to craft a video at some point. It's not saying that I'm not agreeing with that article that came out like, oh, the Phantom Menace is dead. It failed. Boycott failed. The boycott may have very well failed because I think a lot of people are a lot of talk. Not they don't walk the walk. They just talk. I'm boycotting. I'm paying for Jumanji or Cats when I see Star Wars. Even if I have to wait a while because like the crowds, if they're there. But I do think there is a big failure with Phantom Menace, with this film at least. And I don't know what the future is because it's a Star Wars centric fandom. You got the Mandalorian. It's already steering people as a distraction. Where it's like, look, we got good Star Wars, even if this sucks. Everyone's already on board. It seems with Mandalorian.
Well, I think people are on board with it because the visuals do look good. It's being run by Filoni and Favreau, and people have more confidence in them. So they're at least willing to give it a shot. I mean, like like you said before, Angus, if something's done right, then we have to praise it. You know, we have to admit if something's done right.
Yeah.
But if it turns out to be shit, I'm going to call it shit.
Do you know? I'm not sure if it's the right philosopher. There's like, I think Descartes has like the square of like belief or disbelief in God and the pro and con. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I sure do.
Yeah. So if people don't know, there's like this philosopher he surmised in this box kind of a simple idea of God is real or God is not. And if you believe or not, it's like if God is real and you believe, even if he's fake, you're in the clear, just in case he's real. If you believe and he is real, then good, you know, everything's A-okay. If you don't believe and he's real, or if you don't believe and he's not real, then, you know, no harm, no foul. If you don't believe in he is real, you're going to hell. That was his summation. And so he kind of gives you like your best option is to believe even if he's fake because you live life better. It's your best option. All right, and kind of the same kind of setup, different results, but same setup of 4 options. If episode 9 is good and the Phantom Menace generally says it's bad, we look entrenched. If it's good and the Phantom Menace says it's good, then it's like, you cried 2 years for nothing. What a waste, you know. I'll never take you serious. If it's bad and the Phantom Menace says it's good, then you know, it looks like, oh, you flip flop or something. And if it's bad and they say it's bad, like we say it's bad, then it's like, oh yeah, 2 years of bitching about this stuff and we were right. What next? You know, even if you're watching Mandalorian, it's like, you know, it's just the main thing was the saga films, and it seems, at least in the time being, besides Feige Kennedy film, nothing's going to come to the silver screen for a while.
Well, I mean, there's so many different voices. There's so many different opinions. There's going to be a general consensus. I do agree with that, whether it's good or bad or whatever. There's going to be a general consensus of that. But you're always going to have some other voices who may like some of the things that were done. There are objective people in the Menace that can say, I like this about this and that about that. You know, like, for instance, I enjoy some parts of Solo, and I love Rogue One. I don't care. You know, there are people out there that are like, no, I don't like any Disney Star Wars at all. I don't like Rogue One at all. I don't like Solo at all. Never saw it. You know, so whatever the general consensus ends up being, I mean, if it's good, isn't that good? If it is made well, isn't that good? Isn't that kind of what we want? Anyway.
Yeah, there was this whole, like, a lot of people were like, oh my god, the Mandalorian's going to cover the First Order origins, because it's like 5 years after episode 6, and it's like, right. Wasn't that a talking point? It's like, Last Jedi, you never built on what the hell the First Order is, how they came to be, this and that, and it's like, well, they're doing it in the universe, and another thing, like, sorry, it's not in the trilogy, like you should, but they are addressing it finally. That's what we wanted. Right. And then it seems like, well, you're bitching about that, and it's like,
I'm not going to. The only problem that I have with that, is that if they're doing that, that's fine. But I don't want a bunch of series and a bunch of movies that have to correct the sequel trilogy. Like, I don't want that. I don't want all those kinds. You know, I'd like to see some Knights of the Old Republic. I'd like to see, you know, some other things. I like, you know, God, give us a Sith Origins movie. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So there's some important things to consider too. Is that they're journalists who would kind of fit the downside of the Descartes model that Angus illustrated. They are pure reaction, and I think that they're kind of crowd control for Disney going, oh shit, publicly we can't say that this is a problem, but it's a problem because look at these guys. Between them, they have like 1 million people who are wagging their heads about that. But what we also don't need to lose sight of is that we are entertainment critics. So if we see, just like Walton said, if we see something that we like, we'll say, fuck yeah, that was good. But we're also not going to stand for horse shit and for this watering down and the social engineering. So it's kind of like, you know, if you tell me that adamantium is the strongest metal in the world, I'll believe you. And if you tell me that it can regenerate from a blood cell, I'll just be kind of like,
That man right there, ladies and gentlemen. If you hang out with him, you will grow hair on your chest. You just got to hang out with him. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize for all the women getting pregnant right now.
That's right. That's right. He oozes machismo.
Yeah, Mandy, you saw that meme. It was. I wish you were in here early. Maybe watch the replay because we had Lethal.
Oh God!
That
And
was
then
a funny
roast Lethal.
sequence.
Please roast Lethal.
That was
Thank
a funny
you, man.
sequence. You got something to look forward to in this stream when you play it back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let the memes
Let's see.
fly.
We get to we were talking about comics earlier. Two big things I've read recently. I did a video about Dinosaur and Alien. I won't get into that. You can watch the video if you want to get my take on it. I really liked it. And it's supposed to have been a movie series of some sort that never happened from the Men in Black director. Don't know why. It was a Grant Morrison thing, though. I've heard bad things about him with films. But yeah, I read God Country because I've heard good things about Donnie Cates. And so I just found at the library, saw his name. I'm like, oh, I'll give this a chance. You know, it's different looking art. And let me show the art actually. Share screen. Boom. Chrome tab. There we go. All right. So this is God Country, some of the artwork from the covers and whatnot. I don't know what you call this kind of artwork specifically.
Man, I take that sword.
Yeah. So the premise is, all right, the premise of this is there's this family, a man, his wife, and their daughter going back from Austin to a small backwoods town in Texas, find their his father who's gone senile with Alzheimer's, and you come on the scene, the sheriff's had to settle him back down and stuff. And you get there's this history of this, and it's like becoming a wedge between the husband and the wife. And then when she's leaving, a tornado hits the house. And you're like, oh man, his senile dad who doesn't remember him or his family is dead now, and it's been this big thing for the son. And the dad comes out of there and he's holding a sword. All right. And he remembers everything. So the sword somehow imbues him with his normal sanity. And then this lower god comes, this kind of Ares type of god comes. He's like, hey, I want that sword back, and you kind of get this history of this kind of Greco-Roman kind of setup, but new original characters. And you just see everything progress. All right, it's a 6-issue miniseries. It says volume 1 if you look it up, though, for this trade paperback. So maybe there'll be stuff in the future. I don't really see where the story would go. I think it's just nice and contained. But the end, this comic, this miniseries, is the second time a comic has brought me to tears to some degree. The first being Superman for All Seasons, the first chapter with Pa Kent and his perception of Superman. And this one hit that kind of same area of my heart, the love for my son, being a father, and all this Cats in the Cradle type stuff. It's good. I highly recommend this. Go check it out. Go to your library and find it. I'm sure you can request it if you got graphic novels circulating.
I'll check that out, man. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on that website I send you, Lethal. And the other thing I've been reading is the Hickman. I'm trying to stop this Streamlab or the sharing, but the other series I've been reading is the Hickman X-Men, the Powers of 10, House of X.
Oh yeah.
Are they just some of them Hicko X-Men over there?
I see what you're there.
From them,
but no, it's really good. I haven't read much X-Men aside from a few Wolverine stories, but watching all the movies and really loving them, I feel I get the gist of all the main characters. And you come into this, you can know a lot and see, oh, that's Age of Apocalypse, that's Days of Future Past, there's this thing. There's always little hints of this whole history of X-Men as a reader. Or you can come into it and just know maybe from the movies or the archetypes of these characters, and it's a fresh take, but it's new and different. And it's a really cool setup, 12-issue prequel to this new X-Men series. Now, I've read X-Men 1, like it. Marauders, it's kind of, I don't know, 50-50. It's kind of just a dull, it's an entry in this series. But those are my two things I've been enjoying. I would suggest reading them if you can. Find online sites to read them for free if you want. Yeah. Any recommended entertainment, reading, what have you, from Rookie or Stephen Walton before we leave?
Not at the moment, really, but I am working on my next film project. And the only hint I'll give is that the villain releases the gods of cinema. The gods of cinema. Cinema gods, if you will.
Wait, so you're not doing spirits?
No, that was kind of lame. I was like, no, that sounds pretty dumb.
Okay.
These are the gods of cinema. They
Now-
shall be released and wreak havoc. But what shall they do? What is their purpose? What is the reason? We do not know. No one knows. Nobody can know. Nobody will know until I release it.
Ricky's like, I don't even know. I can't get it on paper. Like,
I'm still, well, no, I think I have it all mostly figured out, but I still need to actually write the script. So I think
You
not
know
really
what you should
too much
do
insight.
is you should have Lord Doomcock build a containment field to keep these gods from.
Nope. I have to remove him from the situation. So
Ooh.
if he's there, then it automatically makes it not as much of an issue. So
Well, then I'm gonna have to buy my Disney brand approved popcorn to eat while I.
yeah. Yeah, just I could give a key casting thing. Mandy Summers plays a big role in this project.
Yeah, she's in the chat down there. How you doing, Mandy?
Yeah, I can't say what she does, but she plays 2 roles actually. But the significance of which you shall discover at some point. And I could say this too: Immortal plays a part. He plays a part. He plays a character. Maybe he's on screen once. I don't know.
I think you had me until you said Immortal. And I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
Well, at least I said he's brief.
Yeah, Angus's boner is not quite so raging right now.
Uh-huh. But no, hold on. Let me see if I can think of anything. I don't have any recommendations yet, but I am going to start reading out of those comic books that you sent me, though. I think I'm going to start with that big, thick one of the chicks with
the Xenoscope.
Something. I don't remember what it was, but I don't know. I was like, that looks weird.
Yeah,
I'll pick on that first.
Yeah, I've not read I get them cheap at Aldi or Ollie's, like Jeff Hicks has in his town. So I find a lot of these cheap trade backs and stuff, or I found a Doug TenNapel trade back paperback from the library, so I got it for $1.
A Wormgate.
I showed in my last video. Rat Fist. It's a funny title given everything with Doug and CG lately, but
so perfect. Rat Fist Worm.
Oh man, yeah, but you derailed me, man. In a good way. That was funny.
Point is, I will be reading some comic books sometimes soon. November, I'll probably at least review like 4, probably. Or at least my definition of comic review is giving my thoughts, because I don't really know how to do it in any real format. So,
well, the more you learn, the more you're able to reference.
I'm sorry to break you guys in. But first thing, Angus, when I shared this link on Twitter, I said I'm on Angus with my friends. I just left it like.
Leave it.
Join the dog pile.
Yeah, exactly.
And Angus.
And I've got to run. I've actually got court tomorrow, so I've got to run.
Oh.
Yeah, but thanks for having me on, man. I was glad I saw the link in our chat.
It's great having my buddies on.
Dude, I've been away for days.
I should be having, unless something goes awry, if me or him, I should be having Fatal J next Wednesday.
Oh, that's badass.
Nice.
Yeah. Listen, I might have to. What does he do? Damn it! What does he do? Hijack? I'm gonna have to hijack your live stream.
He's pretty good at changing light bulbs.
No, guys, I gotta go now. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, man.
Later, man.
Yep. Thank you to the chat. Hail the Fandom Menace.
Hey.
Yeah. What I was gonna say, Rookie, is that I think what I seen was volume 10 or 14, but the volumes are meant to be their own story arc. So it's kind of weird because some things, for me, the reason I haven't finished Stark Phoenix Saga or whatever is because when you start the saga, you feel, at least to me, it feels like you have to know shit before that saga starts. So I need to find what happens before that. So it's just kind of off-putting. But Thanos Quest and Infinity Gauntlet are amazing. You know, you just go in fresh, not know the characters. So yeah, but if you read a single issue and it's just like you can pick out the story and tell it well, like recapture it. You don't need to know the whole series or whatever to review comics. Like you watch enough film, you get good storytelling. So don't sell yourself short. There's a reason I followed you and made an alliance with you.
Even a good thing to do would be to compare the film adaptation to its comic book origins. So you take one of your favorite superhero movies, go find, you know, like we were talking about the Joker and Killing Joke today, just compare and contrast. Yeah.
Okay, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, dude.
Can reference.
Yeah, I learned there's a specific term aside from reference, but I was in this poetry class a couple years ago and for English, and no, well, I had a real English teacher, and you know that really helped. But there was different poems where they were written in a style or a pattern like something 400 or 500 years old, where it's like this delivery is the art form and it's a reference itself to something else, or there'll be a line which is a reference to this or a mention of this poem, and there's a lot of like inception shit with poetry. It's kind of cool when you start reading some cool poems, you start getting a knowledge of it. I haven't kept poetry since that class, but I appreciate that, and it kind of expanded my awareness. And you know, good filmmakers know how to add that kind of aspect to their films, the Easter eggs and stuff. And you see that in comics here and there. It's like, hey, I get that. Like the Sean Gordon Murphy Batman series he's doing, the first one he did, White Knight. There's like the pool of Batman's cars is all references to essentially every Batman car besides the BVS car. And I'm like, wait, is he dissing the DCU, or did he just not draw this at the time when it came out? I don't know, but stuff like that, you know.
We can reach even deeper into human history. In Genesis, there's this story about Noah who saved every living being on an ark, and that's actually based on an older story from Akkad of Gilgamesh, who went and sought out this man named Utnapishtim, who saved all the animals when a flood threatened the earth. And that's based on an even older story from Sumer, where a guy named Atrahasis did the same thing. So it's, you see how stories have a way of like compounding on themselves, and they share a kernel of the same origin, but depending on who's telling it, you get a different version. So yeah, that's why I'm a crystal skull, you guys.
Yeah, no, I like what you're saying. I've seen a lot of videos. Being an atheist, I like to watch these kind of, you know, piecemeal videos of like, well, this is really that, and that's from this. You know, it's cool. You actually learn history from that, despite the philosophical angle of it.
It teaches you to be less dogmatic and just to search for the truth. Like, what's the kernel of the moral of the story that I need to take with me? And it doesn't matter what flag or God or whatever you want to wave. You know, did it fucking change your life? That's all that fucking cares.
Yeah, maybe I'll do this Friday. I forgot because I saw it at the comic store. I ended up talking to like the attendant for like an hour about Star Wars and Trump and comics, and it was a good conversation. It wasn't like, fuck you, go Trump. You know, it was fun. But I meant to stop at like Walmart or Meijer or Ollie's or somewhere and check out the makeup, you know, for like Halloween makeup, because I was thinking about, you know, putting on my jacket and painting my face up like Joker from the movie. But you know, I would be bald Joker, you know, so I would only have a ring of green around my head instead of, you know, a whole head of green.
Right on.
I just thought that'd be funny to surprise y'all because, you know, I never really show my face on camera.
Yeah, just
on
on TV, Death Star.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I thought that'd be like, everyone would be like, yeah, that'd be funny, and it's just like crickets.
You should change the name of your online store to Tee Spring.
Dude, if you know, if people ask for it, I'll make a Tee shirt for y'all.
Yeah, I'd like to see one of those, or at least a mug or something, like a mystery mug. You don't know what's inside it. You're just laughing about what you're drinking.
Yeah, no, that's actually clever. I like that. I'll make that just a coffee mug. I just hate that I took that pic in my construction shirt instead of like a normal like red or blue or black shirt because I hate seeing the yellow. Like the yellow helps stand out in a meme, but I just I'm off work. I don't want to see fucking high vis.
Yeah, we got to do the Super Mario stream sometime, Angus.
Yeah, we gotta do. Yeah, if you don't know, that's why in my Twitter handle it says #Plumbarius because plumbers and when it got like kind of perfected as a profession in Rome, they worked with plumnum, or I think that's how you say lead. So lead pipe. So the workers of lead pipe were plumbarius. And I don't know if it's plumbari for plural. I assume so. But I'm trying to make that a thing. I'm trying push plumber pride. Hopefully, I won't be registered as a hate group if it gets traction, but we'll see.
Dude, I like the Plumbisher. That was pretty good.
Oh, the Plumbisher. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Yeah, it's funny shit. Rookie, you're being quiet.
What? No, I'm not.
Well, I just
closeted black guy stuff in chat somewhere.
Nope, I'm openly black. It's okay.
Right on. Well, I really want to thank you guys for having me on. I try not to complain about it too much, but I'm probably the best YouTube channel that nobody knows about. I still only have about 139 subs, and I'm getting to hang out with the big balls. So never look past an opportunity. Come sub to me if you like the shit falling out of my jaw, and yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Sub to Immortal Coil, or he will try to kidnap this rookie because he has means to, and he has a buddy that will help him. And it's just a short drive. So
I got liquor and claws. We damn near gutted a rookie north of the California border. So.
You know what I was thinking, actually? I've been trying to figure out how to make like a plumber superhero comic or, like, I don't know, just some sort of plumber based comic, like how to adapt, real life. Like, oh, I'm learning this and how can I make it like a superpower, or, I've been trying to think of this and I was thinking, I should co-write a plumber comic with Immortal. Could you do residential? I do construction. Yeah, this would be funny, like the mystical plumbing powers,
the plunginator.
Well, yeah, because you have to be an apprentice, right? So already we have that. Then there's a master plumber, journeyman.
We could definitely do like this kind of tongue-in-cheek, like Star Wars plumber reference.
Oh, yeah. Only two there are. Master and apprentice.
Really stupid.
I'm getting pretty good at this. What do I do now? Get in the crawl.
This one's gonna be a tough one. There's freaking Jabba the Hutt just took this toilet, so we gotta do some major cleaning. Use your training. You can do it.
I don't know if Mandy's saying this to me or to Ricky, but she says, "Oh my god, that would be just so bad."
I think that was a little slow response to the thing. That was to my Gungans and Ewok should meet and go on adventures.
Oh, that'd be no. All you need to add is porgs. Then it'd be like on a space horse. It's like all three ride a space horse from Canto Bight, and that would be the worst Star Wars.
Only if the Ewoks are eating the porgs.
And there's all new space horses in this trailer. Did you guys see that? Like BB-8's leading a fucking cavalry on the planks of the Death Star. Oh, fuck off.
Oh, Tommy, he says, I have a strange desire to dig out my copy of Star Wars Christmas Special. It would be less disappointing than anything Disney has done. Oh, I don't know. I think they can top it because Favreau's talking about a Disney Star Wars Christmas Special. So
I know. Oh my god!
It's like I feel like that fish in SpongeBob, where he's like, "How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?"
Well, you know what's going to happen? It's going to be like the
old man.
Well, the old duck that reads the book with Jiminy Cricket about like all the fucked up Christmas shit that happens. He's going to come out and then like you know, Chewbacca's gonna have to go do Life Day again, or maybe it's like Life Day across the galaxy.
No.
That's
You're
a pretty
missing it.
non-offensive holiday, right?
They're gonna have a porg Christmas, and it's just gonna be porgs
Yes.
talking, just going squawk squawk, and just like how the Wookiees were like the whole time. But it'll just be the porgs, just so you can't know English again.
No. Just a porg movie would work. Just 2 hours of watching porgs and their babies and shit. Because, you know, I'm a football fan, and it's funny because Animal Planet has this weird niche of like the puppy bowl, where it's just fucking watching puppies fight over chew toys and shit, and they're puppies, so they have no sense of teamwork or any it's just them playing, and like the halftimes, oh, we got kittens, wow, and it's like somehow this has made it to like Puppy Bowl 12, because weird cat ladies and housewives and shit.
Well, children go, oh, the cute puppies and animals, isn't it cute? And then
I'm just like, yeah. So a porg thing, you'd think, it's funny to joke about, but like that actually would sell, especially if it's like nonsense. Just watch them in wildlife and they're all cutesy. You take your kid.
Mandy in the chat, it's like, oh, they're cute.
Well, you know what's going to happen is there's going to be like a group of asshole porgs who like are really good at some like octo sport that we've never heard of, and then there's going to be a group of like underdog porgs who are trying to play that sport, but they're not quite as good.
Oh,
and somehow,
no.
Somehow, if the underdog porgs can beat the asshole porgs, then their porg youth club can be saved.
No, it's the black porgs are in need of a white savior porg.
Porg lives matter. Porg lives matter.
What was that? The Freedom Riders, but with porgs or something.
All of this sounds like an even worse version of Kelly Sue DeConnick's Bitch Planet.
It probably will be, and then like all the porgs that are brown, because if you follow like human or not human Terran aviary patterns, it's the men who are flamboyant and have all the colors, and the female birds are brown. So the brown porgs are not only brown, but they're also female. Hence, they will solve all the problems in porg society. That's the movie. Thank you, Disney. You can forward my check to P.O. Box.
No. I actually, this is kind of exciting. I really like the song. Actually, it's catchy. But the CGI special edition version of the Cantina or Jabba's Palace, those entertainers, like the,
with the
yeah. That guy and the weird little tube lip chick. Make a movie about them. Make just like a Star is Born, but it's Star Wars with those two. Yeah. There's actually, I don't know if it's Collider or Nerdist or whoever, but there was a Star Wars is Born parody. It was like a Raylo video, but it was really, it's pretty clever actually. I got a kick out of it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. We'll close on this. We'll wrap the HBO and Comics Talk into Comicscape. All right. This is gonna be funny, and I'll probably do a just concise video a day or two about this. But a lot of people like to cry about EVS making all of his super chat money, this and that, and not doing his projects or whatever. That argument that we talk about all the time, where it's like, well, yeah, but unlike just being his own guy, he's facilitating more people, so it's not like he's being selfish. Anyway, he gets residuals on when shit sells, like his old stuff that he's helped create or his stories, they make him money still. And he talked about some bullshit character got like $100,000 one year because residuals. So something like Jessica Cruz, main character, that could be some real cheddar. And he talked about this in the context of like, well, I was in the business and I get residuals and so I made $100,000 off of something as an example. Think about what Sana Amanat would get from Miss Marvel, her character, getting pushed to the front, like the Avengers game and her show and so on. All right. Now, the best win in this culture we're in with entertainment where it's woke and shit is for with the Green Lantern cast. is for them to pick Jessica Cruz, a Latina with anxiety and agoraphobia, and Simon Baz, the Islamic one, who his family gets, ironically, they terrorize the family by spray painting terrorists and shit like that on their house all the time, given state of American war and terror and everything. So his shortcoming is anger. That's where he gets pulled towards in the spectrum versus Jessica, I think, has something else, a different color that pulls her from willpower. That layup of those two characters and how SJW could get with them in the social commentary, like CNN and shit, would only validate EVS, since he worked, his last big thing at DC was Green Lanterns with those two. And so it's like, if they go with the best option, it's like the worst nightmare because it validates CG via EVS, And I just want to get y'all's thoughts on that, and the chat as well, if you got any.
I'm totally for it. I am very proud of EVS and his place in all of this, because it kind of reminds me of like, you remember when, like, well, you guys probably don't. Shit, I'm the old guy now. Well, back in the 80s, there was a bunch of like hairspray metal and like shit that wasn't good, but MTV and the record companies were like, this is good for you. And then like the underground scene came up, and what did we get? Like all the, Nirvanas and Alice in Chains and like real rock that finally came back. And then with that, people were like, well, these guys rock. How come they rock? Oh, because they listened to like Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Metallica and all that kind of stuff. So we got like true stuff for a while. I think that that's fairly analogous to what EVS has accomplished. Now, time will tell whether Cyberfrog will be as enduring as Spider-Man or Batman. But for the moment that it came out and what it represented, it's the same kind of thing. So I think it would be great if they recognized his talent for crafting characters or reinvigorating them, or even if they adopt his visual style and some of the special effects. It represents where the interest is. A ton of people saw through the corporate sort of veil that they're trying to throw down. Like, this is the kind of comics you should care about. No, fuck all that noise. Just give us a good story. So subscribe to EVS, people. He needs the help.
Oh, what about you, Ricky?
So is Jessica Cruz going to be the Green Lantern, or is that just a hypothetical?
No one knows.
It's going to be Alexandra Acosta
Cortez. No, the biggest name I would guess they would chance for Green Lantern series would be Kyle Rayner. I don't know a lot about Green Lantern. I read the Green Lanterns, and I've read a little Green Lantern here and there, like New 52 and stuff, because of Jeff Johns being like a big guy.
Kylo Renner? What?
Kyle Rayner. But yeah, that is very synonymous with Kylo Ren. It's funny.
Kylo Renner.
But yeah, Jessica Cruz is a Latina, like I said, and Simon Baz is a Islamic American, I think, in like Detroit or whatever. They both
Kyle like black, or
no? He's just a white guy with red hair. He's kind of.
They're not going to cast a white guy with red hair.
I don't know, man. They got that dweeb from Shameless as Joker, and
when was the last redhead that was actually cast other than like Mira?
I don't know.
That's a tough one. I'll wait.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Honestly, though, I mean, I don't really think that this will be a big deal because, like, I think what you're referring to was Iron Heights was what he got a bunch of money for. In Justice League, it's only in it for like a little bit, and the Flash was at Iron Heights or something. His dad was there, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember which stream it was. I think it was a High Council, and he was talking about.
I'm pretty sure he was referring to Iron Heights prison, because he said he made the Iron Heights prison.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And that was in the Justice League movie, so that one wouldn't make sense to get a whole bunch of stuff. But it's only in there for like a few minutes, so.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's me thinking outside the box, like kind of seeing like, huh, how can this help CG? Does it? You
I
know?
don't know, it's like I don't think that that's how it'll be looked at, but I mean, people can look at it that way as if, oh, see, they're validating CG, but it's like technically they'd be validating an old piece of Ethan Van Sciver, not a current piece. Like if they were to validate Cyberfrog, for example, then they'd be definitely validating CG. But you know, this
Well,
is
and
a character that
it's the
was made
same thing.
before
Like
CG.
EDS once worked on X-Men, and he actually came up with the idea for the character who became X-23. He called her X-32 because if he spelt it backwards, it kind of looked like the word sex. But it was his idea for her to be Wolverine's daughter, and he handed it off to
What, Yost
his
and Kyle
boss.
or whatever?
Yeah, well, it was Casada. He handed it off to Casada, and he gave it to Yost and Kyle to develop, and then it became this thing. Now, I think Lore is a good character, but that's kind of what your guys are talking about. They tacitly acknowledged EDS's contribution to the lore. I don't know if he gets paid because they changed the character's name and all that kind of stuff, but it it just goes to show like where real talent is and where the mainstream is heading. You know, he's a great thinker. He's a good storyteller. He's a damn good artist. So.
Yeah, well, like I think the character of Angel in the X-Men First Class, the butterfly chick, that's one of his characters. But because it wasn't in the title, he didn't get humongous royalties. He got like $800 royalties.
I
So
mean, that
I don't think the Green Lantern thing would be that much of a big deal, honestly, personally.
well, I mean, it's just like who's notable, what's fresh. You know, Jessica Cruz is a couple years ago, so you know, and it's a woman and Latina, and
It's
we
like
got Trump and the border and all this, so it's a layup. But if you take it, then it's like you're validating a Nazi creator of comics.
I know that it's probably like 100% unlikely, but do you think that DC would make like, I don't know, a new Lantern that's like not from the comics?
I don't know, but I mean, they totally could. That'd be kind of cool if they just, you know, like, hey, let's take a piece from each character that everyone likes and just make a hybrid.
For all we know, they could cast an actress specifically to play the type of character, like model the character after somebody now, and kind of make that the new Lantern for their version.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be mainly in space, so it's going to be like an established universe. Kind of you're jumping in from what I get, but we'll see.
It's like what they did with America Chavez and Marvel. You know, they try to take a piece of the lore and they don't want to like really explain everything. But yeah, this woman can do it all. She's great.
Yeah, that's been fun. I'm gonna get off to bed. Closing thought.
Get off on bed. What?
Get off to bed. But closing thought. I've had this idea. I just kind of pulled it back from the ether in my mind, and I'm trying to figure out how to like what would be the introduction because it's more the name sounds more like a sidekick, but it could be funny. So I have this comic idea. Just a character. I don't really have a gist of what the point would be, but besides like just a funny jab at liberals. But I love the gender check, all that joke and stuff. I love chicks with dicks. That's cool for me if they're hot. And I was thinking of a character called She Lad. It'd be like maybe a Batman Robin setup, but it's like, it's a tranny. But she knows like, yeah, in the end I'm just a dude with boobs. But whatever. I just thought it'd be a funny idea. But I was just wondering what y'all would think it would be about, or I don't know, just kind of help me piece out a little bit what this could be, or if you think it's a funny kind of just premise.
I don't really get what the point would. Like honestly, when you pitched Method Gator, that was brilliant. That was the biggest idea, and also your other idea with the bed thing.
Yeah. No, I'm developing that too. Yeah, I just got a bunch of ideas, but
I'm not coming up with any ideas in my head on this one. Nothing's coming to mind.
Well, I don't know. You should probably take a page out of Dave Chappelle and have this she male person is like a skinny, wimpy, nerdy kid, but they have to do something weird to get their superpower to activate. but they can only do it in the form of that trans person. So they have to like, I don't know, slap a baby in the face, and then
Oh, are
suddenly
you
they
saying?
grow
Wait,
boobs and a dick, and
wait. You could
then
do
they can
a
go and fight
Shazam.
them.
You could do like
Yeah,
Shazam, where it's
yeah.
like
So it could,
you're just some wimpy loser in college or something. Because we're kind of getting into like sexual territory, so I don't want to have like some kid become like a trans mom or something. But that'd be
yeah, but
weird.
they have to do something fucked up to get their power to activate. It can't just be like, damn. Like they have to go and like slap a baby or like kick a puppy. You know,
Well, if it's not She Lad, you could call it Trans Am.
Trans Am. Yes.
Maybe me and Mandy can co-write this and figure it out. But
Yeah.
that's a funny idea I had. I was like She Lad, like Batman and She Lad. I'm kind of thinking this premise.
It has to be Batman and She Lad, actually.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, especially in War Campaign. I'm surprised no one has made like the Gay Lantern. Just like a parody of everything EVS has done with Green Lantern, but just make it gay.
Probably because gays is going to make the gays lantern or something.
Or maybe your current mission and War Campaign has just been realized for your benefit. Like, this is the universe giving you confirmation that
maybe you need to
yes,
make the
Black
comics
lives.
that War Campaign is too afraid to.
Oh no! Well, I am part War Campaign, so it's not that they're afraid. I'm part of
Oh,
it.
I know. That's what you're the chosen one of the group to bring them to life. Is what I'm
I'm
saying.
like, so you're saying like, if War Campaign is a body, then I am Tungi from Kung Pao, where it's like,
I'm saying you're the hand that brings it to life.
I'd rather be Tungi.
You're the hand that strokes the rod of life.
No. If I'm Tungi, then I'm on the front lines taking back holes, putting them in their place. The Gays Lantern. Yes. She Lad and the Gays Lantern.
That's what I was saying. The gays. He's already got the symbol for it with his eye. That'd be the symbol on his chest or something. It's like in the ring. It'll just be his eyeball.
Yeah, but no.
To the gays.
I'm not creative says I'm back. What did I miss? Oh God. Just watch the replay and get back to me, see what you think.
The poor guy.
But yeah, She Lad. I'll have to talk with Mandy about this. We'll figure something out.
We're figuring the future of comic books right now.
Yeah, okay. Man, I thought we were gonna but you said that. I'm not gonna give it away what it is, but a while ago I covered some comic stuff. It was kind of fleeting. It was just kind of an observation and funny. Being War Campaign, it's like, yeah, whatever. Ultimately, yeah, we're winning. This is the future with CG. And months later, I get some stuff in my email. I didn't know I didn't know I put this email out for anyone to contact me through because it's like my backup channel. But they contacted me via email, and they're like, "Hey, can you get rid of this?" And so I replied. I'm waiting for a reply back, but I gave them a full kind of acknowledgement. I'm like, I like to talk and stuff, but no, I'm not taking this down. It's not something I don't see how it's damaging to like, but it's just interesting that it's like, wow, he's not Donny Cates or Hickman or something, but generally, like the comic industry, it's on its death throes. At least the established comic industry, and so it's just like I never thought I'd be anywhere around anyone that would give a hint of this reality, but it's come to me. I'm waiting to see if what comes from this, but. Keep in mind, the guy writing Batman, the guy doing Black Label and helping progress DC in some way, Sean Murphy, who's doing Curse of the White Knight right now, he's doing an Indiegogo campaign, I think, next year. So this guy working with DC is like seeing the reality, So that should tell you something right there. But yeah, I'm not creative. Thanks for coming by, Mandy. Angshuan, everybody that's come in here, my panel, I appreciate it. And again, look forward to next Wednesday. We'll have Fatal J, and of course Friday I'll get back to my 6:30 stream, barring something coming up. Last week I didn't stream Friday because I had a fun day doing Halloween stuff. But yeah, appreciate all y'all. Anything closing for real? I'm just gonna hit in broadcast once you're done.
Are you gonna dress up as a cow for Halloween?
No, I just been too broke in general for any real ideas besides the face paint thing. It's just I thought it'd be a funny surprise. But I wanted to gauge people's opinion.
You should be your Black Panther. They said you were gonna do. But you didn't.
Just make a video of yourself going rawr.
No, rawr.
Y'all would love that. Y'all would love that. But yeah, Moral, anything you want to say?
Besides, just once again, I want to say, hail Angus, hail Rookie, hail the chat. Come check me out, you guys. Need the subs. I'm trying to build something and entertain you guys.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks everybody. See ya.